and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. Welcome to May. And how the heck are you, Miller and Moulton, on this first Monday in the 5th month of the year? Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for starting your week off with us here on the Florida Sports Network. Top of the morning to you.
Good morning, David.
How are things?
Things are terrific today. Today is my daughter's birthday. She is 8 years old today, so it was a great day in the Miller household.
8 going on about 17?
No. She's 8.
I know, but she's very mature. She's very smart, yet she still is a kid. I think you have the best of both worlds.
Right now, I do. There's no doubt in my mind. We shall see what will progress as time goes on.
Oh, you're so blanked.
Oh, I know. And, you're the perfect person for me to discuss this with, because I do find our wives similar in a lot of ways in the way that they go about things, in their demeanor. And, everybody tells me there's going to be a point in which my daughter won't speak to me. And I think it's coming on the other side, because you and your daughter got along all through high school.
Yeah.
And all of those things. You never had any.
No, we've had like a day and a half, I think, in 25 years.
Right.
Yeah. No. It's the other way.
Oh, exactly.
Right.
See, that's what I'm seeing coming.
How many times has your wife come to you and said, hey, I just can't get her to, that she won't. Do you have this problem with her? And you just wait and you're like not sure how to answer it. It's kind of like, do I look good in this outfit? You want to just say the truth. Okay. But if you say the truth, I mean, it could ruin the day. It could ruin the week. It could lead to like a brand new house dynamic. So you know me, I just tell the truth. And every time my wife would say, do you? And I would go, no, listens to me. I don't have a problem. What do you need her to do is what I would say.
Well, we already have a little bit of that. So I see that amplifying as time goes on. And I don't know if it's a little bit of the voice that she's fearful of, that because I don't yell, but the grovelly voice asking,
right.
I don't have to dig too deep to get a somewhat surly sound come out.
It's funny you say that. I remember one time clearly saying to my wife, yeah, this is not a negotiation. I just tell her, boom. That's it. There is no prodding. There is no,
go do this now.
Now.
What do you mean?
No,
what part of now don't you understand?
Thank you. I mean, I know I don't look busy, but trust me, I am. In my mind, I'm busy. We got to do this. Right. So, well, happy birthday to your daughter. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm assuming you guys had a party of some sort. Is there extra cake lying around the house?
So the daughter went with the Oreo ice cream cake.
Whoa!
And the wife decided, because it's already pre-made, the wife decided to get 2. So yes, there's extra cake. But we had a sleepover. We had a little slumber party on Saturday night. She and 3 of her friends.
Oh, okay.
The house may never be the same.
Well, that's good. It sounds like you had a fun weekend. I didn't make it to Brady. I always try to make it to pick 199 just so I can hear all of the commentators go, it's around this part of the draft in 2000 that the greatest quarterback of all time was selected. So you can find diamonds in the rough, and everybody does their Tom Brady story at 199. I always try to make it to 199. Around 190 or so, I was done with the draft.
Just done?
Yeah, well, I devoted a lot of hours. I mean, Thursday night it was 4 hours, 3.5. Friday took like 4.5, and then I watched every pick Saturday till the Giants' last pick was 182. That was early 6th round, so I'm into the 180s. And around 188, 190, I was like, okay, you know what? I do need to get a life.
I had it on all day Saturday, but we had the party going on and the kids and all that. And I just kind of randomly paid attention. But my daughter's has a group of friends, one of which is twins. And their parents came over, and the dad's a flat out enormous Detroit Lions football fan.
Okay.
And he walked in and he sheepishly looked at me and he said,
Right.
they did pretty good, didn't they?
This might be my favorite part of today, that around the country, predominantly Northeast and Michigan, but around the country, see if you all witness this today. The Jets and Lions fan in your life sheepishly asking the rhetorical question, hey, I thought the Jets had a pretty good draft this year. What'd you think? And then when you go, yeah, no, they had a really good draft. And they were kind of walking around bewilderedly like, yeah, I think we had a good draft. Is it okay to have a good draft? Are we allowed to have a good draft? All right. Everybody I talked to seems to think they had a good draft. Even the experts. Worst grade I've seen is a B+. Maybe we had a good draft.
Maybe you did.
Is it possible we could be good one day? Is that what happened? Because if you have good drafts, eventually that means you become a good team, right?
It's the way it's supposed to work.
Wow. So does that mean it could happen to us? I mean, let me get this straight. Within the last few months, the Bengals went to the Super Bowl and the Lions had a good draft? Did that really happen? Yes. Yes.
It can happen to your team too.
It's, I think, the greatest phenomenon that is going to go around this country today. Are Jets and Lions fans just walking at the damn near strangers. In fact, you know what's going to happen with Jets and Lions fans today, Mark? They're actually going to talk to other people on elevators. They're just going to nonchalantly go, hey, did you watch the draft? What'd you think of the Lions draft? I thought they did pretty well. Strangers will talk on elevators throughout New York, New Jersey, and Michigan today. That's how good a draft they had.
Amazing.
It's okay to have a good draft.
No, it is.
Even a really good draft. Yes, that's right. Your team is on the graphic of, so which teams do you think had the best draft? Oh, you got to look at the Jets. You got to look at the Lions, the Eagles, the Chiefs. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Is that us? Yes, it's you. And it's okay.
It is okay.
Congratulations.
Absolutely. Draft weekend has come and gone. The free agents all being signed in the last 24 hours. So now, well, we wait.
Yeah. Yep. See you in 4 months. Yep. These NBA and NHL playoffs need to be really good. Really good. You got to kill some time, all you football fans, no longer sports fans, just football fans.
Maybe we did get a slight blessing with the 3-week NHL hiatus that will let the playoffs last a little bit longer into late June.
I agree. Especially since, there's a good many Islanders and Devils fans who are Jets fans and Red Wings fans who are Lions fans. They needed this draft because they got nothing to watch.
Not a damn thing.
Nothing to watch this NHL playoff season, which gets underway tonight. We'll have some NHL playoff talk a little bit later on in the show. You told me something before we went on the air, and I just want to make sure that I heard you correctly. Early morning.
No.
I know I was physically here around 5:35, but the body may be willing, but the mind, woohoo. Did you tell me that you watched the entire Grizzlies-Warriors game and you watched a good chunk of it with your wife?
Not only that, we watched the fourth quarter and the latter part of the third of the Bucks-Celtics game as well. I watched 5.5 quarters of NBA basketball yesterday consecutively.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. And the Memphis Golden State game was thoroughly entertaining.
Well, the Memphis Grizzlies are entertaining.
They are.
They're fun. They're young. They have a star. He's not a superstar, but they have a star. There are all stars, there are stars, and there are superstars. He's a star now. It's just happened recently, but he's a star.
I can't think of a time in the NBA when the playoffs was this young.
Well, that's because you are this young.
No, but seriously, think about it. Usually vets are the ones that dominate the playoffs. And yeah, the Warriors, they have their vets, but the Grizzlies they looked good.
Well, it's
and they
true.
lost.
It's true, though, because you have
It's a good game.
multiple young teams. Like in the past, you've had a young team on each side going up against the veteran teams. You know, Shaq and Penny with the Magic there in the mid-'90s trying to go through the veteran gauntlet in the East. Boy, you look back, man, that could have been a run. That could have been a run. But they wouldn't pay Shaq. You wonder why the franchise has had the 25-year run since.
But I think part of it, too, is the fact that from a media standpoint, there's no LeBron. So that way they don't have to spend 30 minutes every day breaking down him taking a you-know-what.
Well, there's a new LeBron. His name is Giannis.
And this is young LeBron when he was likable. See, this is LeBron with the Cavs. You know, this is LeBron started to wear the black hat when he took his talents to South Beach. Right. This is LeBron still in Cleveland the first time around when people rooted for he and the Cavs. It's tough not to root for this guy.
It's tremendous.
Yeah. And they went
fun.
And they went into Boston without their third best player, maybe their second best player, depending on the day, and beat the Celtics by 12. Do you know what the Celtics found out yesterday, Mark? That the Bucks are not Brooklyn.
They play defense.
Yes, they do, Mark. They take away what it is you want to do virtually every time down, and they make you go to a plan B. Unlike the Brooklyn Nets, who are out there, might as well be bullfighters in a cape. Voila! Yes, make your way to the basket.
Just give us the ball back because we want to score again.
Right. Yes, Kyrie, let him go. Okay, now you can have the ball back. Yes. That's what the Celtics found out yesterday. I think they'll regroup, and this is going to be a long, tough series. But you could see where Boston was a little shell-shocked yesterday. They're like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? We played a week and a half of basketball. Every time we came down, we wanted to run a set. We were in a set. I mean, we got good looks every time down. We scored about 115 points a game. What the hell's going on here? He's looking at him going, I don't know what league you guys were in, but this is a step up.
Right, but we switch and close out, and we're not going to let you have all these easy buckets that you were getting against Brooklyn.
Miller and Moulton. We hope you had a great weekend, and thanks for starting your week off with us here on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I'm excited for the NHL play. Oh,
That's a tooth.
oh, ooh. Yeah, Sports Center is doing a Sports Center feature right now, and they're showing a bunch of people getting their teeth busted out in the NHL. The segment is just called Smile. That guy's got like 3 teeth missing. Oh.
But they're not asking to be Americans. We were that beacon to let them come here and be a citizen. We didn't say you could come here from a war country and work and take our money back to your war country.
What's the? Well, But what's the difference between that and what's Wimbledon's doing to the players?
None.
Right. I think what Wimbledon's doing is absurd.
Yeah, I got you.
Is there any way to give them their visas, but like say to their money, like the money the money has to stay here?
I don't know. I guess I'm just more thinking, you did it in hockey, you'd piss him off.
Well, but also you throw that league into utter chaos. Now, which I don't think a president of the United States needs to take into consideration, but
they're doing a whole thing on guys losing their teeth here.
Yeah,
Whole feature.
Hey, this is talking hockey. Mac, doubt we'll see him in a Dodger uniform. You're not going to see Trevor Bauer ever again. I mean, Major League Baseball has put a scarlet letter on him. No one's going to touch Trevor Bauer. He's suing for his money right now.
In fact, there was a K and 2 Ps in the 4th round.
I wish I grew up a hockey fan. Part of me does.
You can become one.
I will. Because of this show, I feel like I'm more of one.
Beginning tomorrow.
More than I ever have.
Beginning tomorrow, you have a chance to become a hockey fan and you can root for your team.
Yes, sir.
Here we go.
Oh, nice. I've always liked the NHL
Danico
playoffs.
And Ty Domi.
Yeah.
Ty Domi had a face you could just keep hitting and it wouldn't bleed. You couldn't cut that guy.
Ken Danico was terrific. Terrific player. Just one of those solid second line.
Right on the borderline of being dirty.
Yep. Danico's like, I don't want to fight, but if you want to fight, I'll win this.
I could be wrong, but I feel like there's less fights nowadays in the NHL.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the first round is when they will fight.
Yeah.
Why the first round?
Because they're healthy.
Because they're healthy and they're trying to establish it. They're trying to get it all done right now.
Yeah.
That's great.
The hockey playoffs, I would argue, get worse as the playoffs go on because just the attrition of the players.
Yeah. Right. They're all gassed.
Yeah, I love this. Bauer's done in LA. No, Bauer's done. Period. No one will sign him.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He's just fighting for his money right now.
How old
I
is
do
he?
think he'll win.
How old is Trevor Bauer?
He's like 31.
Yeah, he's 31.
First off, I don't see how Bauer, like they suspended him 2 years and said because he's been out since July of last year.
10 seconds.
And they said from July to now doesn't count. What are you talking about?
Thanks for listening. And now, more of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Top of the morning to you, Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. The Florida Sports Network. Today is a great day. One of the best days of the year.
You ain't lying.
I've got goosebumps just thinking about it. For the next 9 weeks, basically every damn day, there will be playoff hockey. Listen, NFL playoffs are great. Baseball playoffs are great. The NBA playoffs that are going on right now. Thank you, Mike Breen. Outstanding. Even athletes in football, baseball, and basketball say, well, the best playoffs are the Stanley Cup playoffs.
And we believe that the first round are the best of the playoffs. Every team's as healthy as they will get. There's a little more physicality in the first round. In fact, they'll drop the gloves in the first round, which won't happen all that much after the first round.
And there is a lot of drama associated with the playoffs this year. And for those of you that don't follow hockey, how about this? You got a series that starts tonight. You got the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning. And they are playing the franchise with the longest drought in the history of the sport. In fact, Mark, it's 55 years ago today, the last time the Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup. 55 years ago today.
Congratulations. In the first round, you get the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Right. They have not won a playoff series in 18 years. This is the Toronto Maple Leafs, far and away the most popular team in all of Canada. I mean, the Canadians are far and away the most successful franchise, but the Toronto Maple Leafs are the most popular team in Canada.
Yes.
This is their sport. This is their team. Right. Mm-hmm. And they can't win a series, and they have to play in the first. And this is the best team they've had in nearly 30 years. And their reward is to draw the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Lightning.
The Lightning are favored in the series.
As they should be.
Albeit a slight favorite, but they are favored in the series. They do not have home ice advantage in the series.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just in Mark. Who's the Lightning's goalie? Thank you. I'm taking the Lightning.
Oh, I'm just pointing out that Toronto had the better regular season.
Yes, they did.
They have home ice.
55 years. You know, much was made a generation ago about the New York Rangers having a 54-year Stanley Cup drought. And I had only been alive for about half of it, and I felt as if my life would not be complete if the Blue Shirts didn't dance with Lord Stanley in the spring of 94 as the sign that was held up after they finally won said, "Now I can rest in peace." Well, that is how they feel all throughout the country, many of whom have relocated to the state of Florida and have decided not to leave, taxes and all. Hey, if you're going to stay, just tip a little better. That's all we ask. That's all we ask.
A lot better.
Yeah.
It's time now. This is, you know what? Enough of you Canadians. All right. It's May. You shouldn't even be in the state of Florida right now.
Not true.
No, actually true.
No.
Time to go home.
No.
Time to get your stuff. Head north and beat it.
No. They've decided to stay. They're going to try to
We
get
want our restaurants back.
Nope.
We want our beaches back.
Nope. Nope. We want all your money. No. Keep staying. Keep spending it. In fact, enjoy the month of May. In theory, it's going to take you all month just to get through the playoffs. Both Florida teams, in theory, you could play in May. If by chance you beat the Lightning, you will likely get the Panthers. Let's do this together. But the Lightning and the Maple Leafs, one of 8 playoff series that get underway. There are storylines galore. The Panthers, have they won a playoff series since they went to the finals?
No.
When did they go to the finals? It
I
was
had just moved to Raleigh.
it was the first term of the Clinton administration.
96.
Correct. There you go. So here's the Florida Panthers. Best team in hockey during the regular season, by the way. This far and away their best regular season ever. And yet, they got a goaltending issue. They have a lack of playoff success issue. They are the better team. They should beat the Capitals. Ovechkin will play. Game 1 tomorrow. Rangers and Penguins don't like each other. Oilers and Kings don't like each other. Blues and Stars don't like each other. Or I'm sorry, Blues and Wild. My bad. I mean, we've got genuine animosity in these first round series. Not all of them.
And besides, you don't need genuine animosity. All you really need is the puck to drop in game 1. All the animosity that you're going to need happens at that point. But to David's point, there are a handful of series where there's a little built-in animosity before the sucker even starts.
Right. So it's the most wonderful time of the year. No, it's not Christmas. It is the beginning of the Stanley Cup playoffs. They begin tonight. Your networks of choice are new. They are ESPN and TNT. I believe they're alternating by night. Like, I think tonight's a 4-letter network night. And I think tomorrow's a TNT and night. I think that's how they're doing it.
We'll have to figure it out as it goes along.
We will. We will. There's no question about it. But it's the most wonderful time of the year. There is no doubt about that. Hey, did you see over the weekend? I think it came down late Friday, and we obviously were off the air. Did you see the suspension Major League Baseball gave Trevor Bauer?
2 years.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. How long?
2 years for Trevor Bauer.
Help me out here. I don't believe you've ever suspended anybody for more than a year. Yeah. That would have been my reaction if I was representing Trevor Bauer on Friday. I would have been like, holy mackerel. Damn. You really don't like my client.
No, they don't.
Well, he's not a likable guy.
They didn't like him before all these allegations were out. That did not help Trevor Bauer.
Although, do you know what was funny? A couple years ago, you could listen to at 5 o'clock
On Major League Baseball radio?
MLB Network Radio.
Right.
One of the days, I forget which one, it was called the Bauer Hour. It was 5 o'clock on like a Thursday or a Friday. I kid you not. It was the Bauer Hour. Major League Baseball, not that long ago, was actually wrapping themselves around the eccentric personality that was Trevor Bauer. Right. I mean, this came right from the commissioner. I mean, trust me, you don't appear on MLB Network Radio without New York approving it. They gave him his own hour.
Right?
Talk about anything you want.
It was reasonably entertaining at times.
Yeah, he bashed baseball and everything. Yeah. And they were fine with it. They were cool with it. Knock yourself out. Say whatever you want. Just try to keep my name out of it was basically what Manfred was saying. Yep. Now, you're done. Put a fork in your career, baby.
Oh, it's over. Even if he appeals and ends up winning, it's going to take next to forever.
Well, he'll just get his money. That's all that's going to be. He'll just get his money. I don't think anybody touches him. Even though there have been others who have been accused of domestic violence, who have even pled guilty to some degree of domestic violence and were re-signed. I don't think anybody will touch Trevor Bauer. This is Major League Baseball putting a scarlet letter on him and saying, yeah, you're done. You going to be the GM who signs Trevor Bauer?
No, I think the point that you made is there. The league doesn't want him. And if the league doesn't want him, everybody else will fall in line.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Spitz, that's because you're playing a Canadian franchise. And the Bruins are opposite at the same time. But since the Toronto audience doesn't register in the States, and the Bruins are a better draw than the Lightning, just from a rating standpoint. So, but I think there was a chance for you to get the main network if you were not playing Toronto. You know, notice what they did the late games as well. Same deal. Mac, I'm hoping they threaten a boycott. It is a pretty fascinating case, though. I mean, it's an uncomfortable subject matter, but this is a guy who was not charged. 2 opportunities to indict him, not charged.
Yeah, we don't need 50 Shades of Grey in the MLB. That freaks them out.
Yeah. Well, apparently Major League Baseball did their investigation. Apparently they uncovered 2 other women who,
Yeah.
right. And so
there's 3 total women, and they,
yeah,
the third one stepped forward.
Yeah. And so baseball just said, yeah, we don't need you. Fight us for the money. We don't care. We got lawyers on retainer. Whatever. They need something to do. Talking some serious coin here, though. I mean, we're talking like $65-70 million on the line.
God, this is so molten right here. There's no way you'd ever move like that unless 2 pizzas were on the line.
Got that right. I did something yesterday I've never
Arch,
done
as long as they
before.
didn't choke him while they were sleeping with him.
I did something yesterday I've never done before. I watched the Premier League. I watched a pregame, an entire match, and a little bit of postgame in its entirety. Mark Everton is facing relegation, and I knew that, and that's why I watched.
I watch all the time.
I know you do. No, you all do. You're in. I'm the weirdo. I'm the one who hasn't gotten in.
Well, I don't, but I just put it on because it's live sports at 10 in the morning.
I understand.
Exactly.
But I was all in. I mean,
I know you started describing it and the accent came out within the first 3 words.
There's nothing better than
without it being on purpose.
There's nothing better than heading to the course and being in the clubhouse at 10 a.m. and seeing an intense match of football at Wembley Stadium.
all I know is that apparently they were parked outside the hotel of the opponents there at 3 a.m, setting off fireworks. I think they were playing Chelsea.
Yeah, someone the other day asked me what sport has the best fans in the world, and without hesitation, I said soccer.
It's the one thing we've agreed upon. There's 2 things that I think we want to do. We want to A, see a match over there, and B, we'd love to go to a World Cup match that does not involve the United States.
I went to, and I'll say this quickly because I have 10 seconds. I went to a World Baseball Classic game in 2013 at Marlins Park. The Dominican Republic versus Puerto Rico is the only time I've ever seen Marlins Park sold out, and it was an amazing experience. There was a band in the crowd.
That's what we're going for.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Nick Kypreos in an hour. I think that's when I got.
You're right.
Nick booked.
No. You're exactly right.
We start our Stanley Cup playoff coverage. Nick Kypreos in an hour. Tony Fiorentinto. I mean, we talked to him right as the Heat were beginning their series against the Hawks. They won in 5. We did this for Felipe. We want to continue the good times, the good vibes. So, that's going to be our thing. We bring Tony on right before.
For good times and good vibes.
Right before each round starts for the Heat.
We're vibing with him.
Right. Nothing wrong with vibing with Tony Fiorentinto. Matt Cannata, 2 hours from now, we'll just ask him, is it really possible that the Lions and Jets both had good drafts? We're giving them 2 more hours to ponder it. Could it, in fact, be true? That's right. You heard what we said. That the Lions and Jets both have really good drafts. It is time for
Starting 5. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting 5 on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
The draft really is over. 15 Georgia players selected. It's a new record. I will say there should be an asterisk next to it. It's a COVID class. They had 2 senior classes. They would not have had 15 guys drafted if you did, because you could have this again next year and the year after. I mean, you've got a backup of classes here. I mean, Alabama could break this record next year.
They could.
Wait to see how many Alabama guys get drafted next year.
Just think if Johnson didn't transfer to Florida State, they'd have had 1 more. I thought that was your asterisk.
The Bears released Nick Foles. They've been trying to trade him for a year, and nobody wanted to take on the contract. And so the Bears eat about $6 million, save about $8 million, and they send Nick Foles packing. It's a pretty good backup quarterbacks on the market right there. I mean, might be better than anybody Seattle has, period.
Well, now that's a point.
Just could be better than anybody Carolina has, period. Just saying. But so you got Nick Foles out there. You got Baker Mayfield out there, yet to be traded. And, I mean, Jimmy G's doing Subway commercials, but otherwise he's still out there rehabbing a shoulder. Saints are pushing to sign Tyrann Mathieu. They still have a need at safety. Mark, USFL last night. Tampa Bay rallied to beat Houston 26-25. NBA playoffs?
I watched
What?
2 plays of Michigan-Pittsburgh yesterday.
So you were flipping through the channels, you stumbled upon USA?
I was doing the guide just to
Right.
see if there was a good cooking show on. And on the USA Network, I noticed USFL football, so I put it on for 2 plays.
Right.
One play was a pass play, and because of that, you got a good crowd shot.
Oh, yeah.
You are so far over on 138 people, it's not funny. I think they're in single digits. David, they showed a crowd shot. There were 4 people in the stands.
Mark, you have to look really high up in the lower section. That's where it's shaded. You've got the overhang from the upper deck.
This just in, it's in May in Alabama. It ain't that hot.
Well, I'm just saying that's where the 70, 80 people are hanging out up there in the shade.
You say so. I thought there were 4 at Panthers Maulers.
Hey, you're the one that said, though, you would do this as opposed
Smart
to
move.
8,000 people in Michigan or Pittsburgh or whatever.
Whatever the gate is wouldn't pay for the travel.
NBA playoffs round 2 underway. Milwaukee went into Boston, beat the Celtics by 12 without Chris Middleton. Held Boston at 33% shooting. Giannis was okay. He had 24 points, 13 rebounds, 12 assists.
I mean, David's trying. He's giving you bandit scores before he goes into real sports. I mean, this guy he is on the USFL payroll because he's still trying to get paid by the AAF.
I did that, A, just to bust your chops and see if you were paying attention, and B, I wanted to keep the football all together.
Sure.
No. Just it's how I do it on the sheet.
You know what? Exactly. That's how you can get to the starting 5.
Right. It's football. Right.
Football.
1. NBA. 2. So the Bucks won on the road, and the Warriors did as well. Draymond got ejected in the second quarter. It was a ridiculous ejection, and not on Draymond's part, on the NBA's part. How that constitutes an ejection.
Wow.
Man, oh man. But so he gets ejected mid-second quarter, and Golden State beats Memphis in Memphis anyway, 117-116. Klay Thompson with a big 3 with 36 seconds to go to give him the lead. Ja misses a runner at the buzzer despite his 34-point effort, and the Warriors up 1 spit. They've got a long streak going here where when they win game 1 of a series, they don't lose. I'm just saying. That doesn't mean they can't lose. I'm just saying that they've got a long streak going. Tonight, Heat hosts the Sixers. No Embiid. Don't know if you missed this over the weekend. Late in the Game 6 wrap-up win over Toronto, Embiid took an elbow to his right eye, broke his orbital bone, and he also suffered a concussion.
They were up 29 points.
Yeah.
4 minutes left in the game.
Well, it was a little more than 4 minutes. It was like 4:30, 4:40. But to be honest with you, if you feel, I don't blame Doc at all. You got another minute and a half till they go to media timeout, and at that point, you take everybody out. I have no. It's a put away game with the way they shoot threes now in the NBA. I had no problem with them being on the court for another 90 seconds.
And he even said so. If you listen to Doc, if you say look at it, you would see me said there was a shot in which he said we're calling timeout after the next trip down the court. He planned on taking him out. This is just something that happened.
It was unfortunate.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Guy Embiid was driving. All of a sudden, he kind of lifts his left arm up, dissipating contact, and elbows Embiid in the right eye.
I believe it was his fellow Cameroonian, Pascal Siakam.
It was.
At first, it's like Embiid's out for the series. Now it's like, maybe a week, maybe game 3 in Philly. But no Embiid tonight, no Kyle Lowry for the Heat. Remember, he got hurt late in the Hawks series, game 4, I believe. Heat are 7.5-point favorites, Mark. Game 1 in Miami. I would lay the points. I think it might take Philly a little while to figure out how they're going to play without Embiid. Phoenix, by the way, game 1 at home against Luka and the Mavs. Suns a 5.5-point favorite. Booker came back in game 6 for Phoenix in their closeout over New Orleans. As we've mentioned, NHL playoffs get underway tonight. The Lightning go for the three-peat. Hasn't been done since the Islanders of the early 80s. They face Toronto. Maple Leafs have home ice advantage, so game 1 and 2 north of the border. Bruins and Hurricanes in a first-round series.
Man, you got to love the Whale taking on the Bruins in the first round.
How rich is that? Not a lot of scoring going to be in that series. And Boston had trouble scoring against Carolina in the regular season. St. Louis and Minnesota, they don't like each other. Separated by 2 points in the standings. Wild have home ice. Game 1 tonight in Minnesota. And the Kings and the Oilers. All right, I'm going to pick an upset. I'm going to take the Kings. Not that many people care, but Dustin Brown, their longtime captain, announced last week he's retiring after the playoffs. I think, A, they rally the troops to win a series for Dustin. He's beloved, 18 years with that organization, number one. Number two, they have the 2 best defensive centers in the league, which is good because Edmonton is really strong at center. So, and their goalie, Jonathan Quick, is better than Mike Smith.
You're down right there, and I hope you're wrong. Hockey needs Edmonton to get to the next round.
I totally agree. Because also it would likely be a Calgary-Edmonton series, which would just, wake up the echoes and the whole deal. It'd be awesome. But
there'll be one, probably be 2, and you're not the only one liking the Kings in that series because Edmonton has been a playoff disappointment. And a disappointment, quite frankly, with the best player in the world, Connor McDavid.
I mean, at least they've won 1 playoff series with McDavid, while the Leafs have yet to get out of the first round with Matthews, but that's my upset pick. Aaron Ekblad expected back soon. He practiced with the Panthers. They don't know if they're going to throw him right in game 1 of the playoffs or whether they're going to, be sure that he's up to speed. But the Panthers and the Capital series begins tomorrow in Fort Lauderdale. Ekblad will be back soon. Ovechkin expected for game 1. He hurt his shoulder late in the regular season. He came out. First off, he's practiced 3 straight days with him. And secondly, he said, well, if it was the playoffs, I would have played. So obviously he's going to play. The Pens are going to have to give it a go against the Rangers, at least for the first 2 games, without their normal number 1 goalie, Tristan Jarre, but Jarre got hurt down the stretch, and Casey DeSmith played well, although he has not historically played well against the Rangers. But DeSmith is going to get the nod in nets beginning tomorrow night in the Penguins-Rangers series. Baseball. Rays lost 2 out of 3 to the Twins. Minnesota beat them 9-3. Marlins won 2 of 3 from the Mariners, but lost yesterday 7-3. The Yankees have the best record in baseball. They've won 9 in a row. They swept the Royals 6-4. Your Blue Jays, Mark, not far behind. They won 2 of 3 from Houston. 3-2 winners yesterday. They're 15-8 on the season. The Yankees are 16-6. Orioles took 2 of 3 from the Red Sox.
Remember that. Anytime the Orioles win a series in the division, that's bad for the team that they beat to have shots at the postseason. I don't think the Reds are going to win the division, or Red Sox are going to win the division. But all of a sudden, you start losing 2 or 3 from the Orioles. These are the little things that take you out of a wild card.
Well, mentioned the Yankees are 16-6. The Red Sox are 9-14. Do some math. They're 7.5 back. Mark, the Reds have lost 6 in a row and 17 of 18.
Where are you going to go?
Colorado beat them 10-1. They're 3-19.
This is delicious.
I'm almost starting to feel sorry for
I'm
them.
not.
But once again,
where are you going to go?
Angels won 2 of 3 from the White Sox 6-5. They have a 2.5 game lead in the West. Cubs avoided the sweep against the Brewers 2-0. Milwaukee leads St. Louis by 2. Cardinals beat Arizona 7-5 to split a 4-game series.
I know you can't do it, David, but right now, if I am the Reds television and or radio partner, Reds baseball, where are you going to go?
Absolutely. If I'm the station's carrying them, I'm running it.
Oh,
Texas 7-3 over the Braves, who lost the series, and they're 10-13, which puts them 6 or so behind the Mets early. Cleveland 7-3 over Oakland to sweep that series. Dodgers took 2 of 3 from the Tigers, 6-3. Giants lost 2 out of 3 to the Nats, 11-5. San Diego won 2 of 3 from the Pirates, 7-3, and the Mets did the same to the Phillies, 10-6. The Mets have won all 7 of their series to start the year. John Rahm hadn't won since last year's U.S. Open. Well, he took care of that this past weekend in Mexico. He won the Mexico Open by 1. LPGA Tour American Marina Alex wins in California by 1 over world number 1 Jin Young Ko. And NASCAR, Mark, they only got 78 laps in. They need to get 400 in. They're at Dover. Lot of short circles at Dover.
Yeah, they start at noon today?
They start at noon today. Our buddy Ross Chastain is in 11th. And one final story. Remember Gators basketball forward Keontae Johnson? He put his name in the transfer portal yesterday. He's the one who collapsed a year and a half ago in Tallahassee. He needs medical clearance if he's going to try to play in the NBA. He graduated this past weekend. He has a $5 million insurance policy, which apparently allows him to play in a, quote, handful, unquote, of games to see whether or not he's fit to play. Oh, by the way, it was also reported yesterday he is accused but not charged in a sexual assault case. That was news to Keontae. A reporter told him that over the phone. It's a fascinating story on many levels. And that was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
Not news you want to get over the phone. Not news you want to get, period.
No.
But not from a reporter over the phone.
And back to the basketball thing for just a second. $5 million insurance policy if he never plays again, and he wants to play. What college is going to accept him, even if he signs a waiver? And would you risk $5 million to keep playing basketball at 22 when to say that you're a borderline pro prospect is being kind now because of your ailment, whatever it is, by the way, we assume it's heart.
Give the man his money.
Right. Yet he wants to play.
Can't come up with some sort of violation either. They can pay him now, David.
Darn right they can. Insurance or otherwise. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. And use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove, with a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, the Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with the Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Said you got to go spend the money
Right.
and go to where your wife goes to get her hair done. Or I'm just telling you.
I always wanted to do Grecian formula. You know, the whole just run it through your
Right.
hair and just see if it actually worked.
Just so you can see how bad the Reds are going right now. Watch this sequence from yesterday's game. They use the screen, they call it off. He doesn't get that one.
I don't know if I've ever seen two in a row and another pop-up. This one is around the pitcher's mound.
Where are you going to go?
It's bad.
Where are you going to go?
It's so bad. Also, look at the Marlins game yesterday.
Not bad. They had a few people there.
Yeah. I don't want to sound desperate because this usually is desperate, but the Marlins are good.
Hey, said it last week. The Marlins pitching can win a World Series. A World Series.
Yeah.
And it's going to get better.
Pablo's making a Cy Young case right now. Early Cy Young case.
Now, they need more hitting.
Yes.
They do.
Yes.
But,
Mark, the Marlins are good.
well, they have a chance to be good. Because, they could use two more bats. That's how much more hitting they need. But
Byron. Hey, man. He's a stud. When he plays.
he's already missed 1 week. I'll tell you what, and I'm not joking, Twins fans and the Twins organization would take 75% of the games from Buxton. They really
Hey,
would.
you get 120 out of him?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They would take it in a
Might
heartbeat.
win the division.
1 week a month that he's out, they'd be fine.
Said it last week. What, his highest games in a season is like 91?
Oh, he's played over 92 games once.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I will say, I hope Aaron Judge stays healthy. I do, because it's gonna be a blank piece of paper and a pen in front of Aaron Judge. All right, this whole they're trying to draw the line and they only want to pay him 30. Yeah, I hope he stays healthy, because if he stays healthy, he's going to hit like 45, and they're going to win, and they're going to have to pay him whatever the hell he wants. Yeah, but Rossi, he didn't know that. And remember, accused is not charged. So
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Hope you had a great weekend, and we thank you for starting your week off with us. Nick Kypreos, north of the border, will join us coming up in about 35 minutes' time. Might as well go north of the border. Lightning and Maple Leafs to start things off, but a quick Stanley Cup playoff preview with the former Stanley Cup champion, Nick Kypreos, in a little more than 35 minutes' time. We joked in the first hour about, hey, the Jets and Lions had really good drafts, and it's allowed. The league actually allowed it to happen.
In fact, they encourage it.
Well, they do. You know, they do this whole, worst teams get to go first. Goodell was asked that, by the way, on Pat's radio show. He was asked it before the draft. In fact, Pat was the one that asked him the question. He said, hey, have you thought about a draft lottery? He goes, yeah, we think about it every year. And Pat then followed up with, well, and Goodell went, yeah, we think it's working just fine. In fact, if you go back and look at the last 2 weeks last year, the competitive balance, Jags beating the Colts, he goes, we don't think we have a problem. We don't think that there's a moment at all where teams are dogging it.
Yeah, if there's a problem, it's not in weeks 16, 17, 18, if you will. It's teams like the Dolphins that tried to tear it down a lot earlier than that.
Right.
I mean, more happens in August to tear it down than it does in late December, if you know what I mean.
Right. March and April, if there's a problem, is usually when the problem, I think, can be detected. Agree with you completely. So he said, yeah, I just don't see the problem in terms of those wondering whether or not the NFL will ever go to some kind of draft lottery. But, quickly, because, you and I are not going to pretend to be something that we are not. We follow it. We know that our bread is buttered on football on this show in the state of Florida. We're not dumb, although sometimes we give that appearance. But but just, I don't know what your gut feeling was. Was there a team, a particular pick that you liked, that you saw? Like, I thought getting Howell with the first pick of the 5th round, all right, for the Commanders.
I thought getting Nakobe Dean in the 3rd round for the Eagles. I thought the Eagles had an unbelievable draft with the trades they made, the players they picked, what they did. I thought the Eagles put themselves in a position where you're going to have to strongly consider them for the division in the NFC East. That's how good I thought the Eagles draft was, David.
Don't, please don't.
And I know your man crush on Nakobe Dean heading into the draft. And when you saw him slipping, you go, somebody's going to get a stud.
Well,
and then the 2nd round goes through and he doesn't get picked. And the Eagles get him in the 3rd round.
Well, Mark, it wouldn't pain me so much if he didn't go pick 83 to the Eagles when the team I happen to root for had the 81st pick in the draft. I mean,
and the 67th pick for that.
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
Sorry.
Correct.
I knew I saved some of these pieces of paper for a reason.
And so here was my thinking. First off, they said they're yeah. So needless to say, that was a pick that I was at one point, and I don't know if anybody said this on TV or radio, but at some point when Nakobe Dean fell to the 3rd round, I thought the question needed to be asked, did he kill someone? All right. Has something happened in the last 24 to 36 hours that we are truly unaware of? Don't tell me he's got a pectoral muscle injury. I don't care if he's going to miss the entire 2022 season. This is a tackling machine for 8 years as soon as he can get on the field. You cannot tell me that is not worth a pick, the likes of which we've seen go by for the last day plus. I get if you don't want to spend your 1st round pick on an injured player. I mean, nobody took a Jabo either. Okay.
Right.
I get it. Some of you with multiple picks we could argue with, but fine. You don't want to spend a pick on a guy who's walking in injured, might miss the whole year. Get it. 2nd round? Now we're into the 3rd? Seriously. mean, Georgia, 15 guys taken, national champs, historically good defense, the whole deal. Might have been the best player on it.
Right. He was only taking one run ahead of their punter.
Correct. So
I thought the Eagles. I keep going back to the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's hard because I have a soft spot for the Lions, and I think David can attest. I am not a Lions fan. I'm a fan of every Michigan team not named the Wolverines, with the exception of the Detroit Lions. They've been bad my whole life. It's hard to root for a team who's never been good. But I have a soft spot. I thought they did a really good job.
you know who else did a good job? The Baltimore Ravens.
What else is new?
They drafted a lot of good players. And once again, Mark, they didn't have to move around much. In fact, in some cases, they even moved down a few spots. It is amazing what happens when you simply draft good players. Don't try to get cute. Don't try to reach. I'm going to look for a slot corner here, or, I want to go grab a safety maybe to guard tight ends on third down. How about if you just draft good, solid players every damn time? How about that? Like, I will say this. If you're an 11 or so win team and you're trying to just get a little bit better, I can understand you getting cute with a draft. I can. Like, if Buffalo got cute in a draft, I could understand it at the point that they're at. They basically don't have any starting positions available. They're trying to get good around the edges. Like the Bills spent a 4th-round pick on a punter and got criticized for it. Are you serious? Guy's going to kick for him for 10, 12 years. There's not much they need to improve here. I mean, they were arguably 13 seconds away from the Super Bowl. I mean, come on now. So they want to upgrade a punter. Who cares what pick they spend on it? And besides, he's going to be their kicker for 10 years. It's pretty good for a 4th-round pick. Get a 10-year starter. I mean, if the guy comes through with one big punt in a big situation, you tell me it's not worth it? So I could understand that with the Bills. But, the team I happen to root for, I thought their new GM got way too cute. It's like, dude, you have a bad roster. Just draft good players. What are you doing taking this slot receiver from Kentucky in the 2nd round when no one else has them before the 4th? You're passing on Pickens. You're passing on that the Sky receiver. You passed on Mechie. What are you doing? Come on, nobody thinks that receiver's better than these receivers. What are you doing?
I thought it was interesting that Green Bay got criticized for going up and getting the North Dakota State kid with the best speed. All we've said for 2 years is that the Packers aren't drafting a receiver.
Right.
They go up and get the fastest kid in the draft. Now, he does play in a dome, so I love the people going, well, he's from North Dakota, so they play in a dome, you jackass.
Right.
I mean, that honks me off a little bit.
Well, people not doing their homework.
But they're covering the draft.
I understand. There's a lot of players, Mark. There's a couple of assumptions are made.
I got you. North Dakota State plays in a dome. There aren't very many college teams that play in a dome.
Well, and not only that, it's not like North Dakota State's this great mystery. They've won 8 of the last 9 FCS national championships. By now, you should have at least seen a game on the Deuce.
But I laugh when Green Bay gets a hard time for taking a receiver when everybody says they should take a receiver. That baffled me a little bit.
I liked it. Now, I will say, I have no idea what the new Vikings GM was doing. Wasn't crazy about the Bears draft unless they drafted 3 linemen really late. If by chance his 5th and 6th round offensive lineman hit, then this draft could be salvaged. But I didn't the Bears invested in their secondary. I'm sorry. Do you not realize you have Justin Fields and a really bad offensive line and no receivers and 1 running back who's a year away from free agency, by the way? I mean, what are you doing? Once again, you've put together a nice young secondary. That's fantastic. They're going to be on the field a lot,
I thought there's a couple teams like the Packers. And again, this is where I don't necessarily know, but the Packers had a bunch of 6th-round picks. They went South Carolina, Georgia Tech, Miami, Penn State, Nebraska. A couple of those guys are going to make the team.
Sure.
I mean, it's my philosophy when you're in that world that draft guys from Power 5 schools late in the draft.
Mark, I'm on it. If I ran a draft, which would be frightening. But I'd only take guys from about 20 schools. I mean, I'm not kidding. I wouldn't even have other players on my board necessarily. I mean, I'd keep going back to the well.
So that's where I was. I love what Philadelphia did. I keep going back to it, but I thought the Eagles were just tremendous.
So we like the Eagles. I like the Chiefs draft a lot.
I did too. We'll see. A lot of people like the slot kid from Western Michigan. They got him to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he's going to be Tyreek Hill, but they're out trying to get replacements.
Right. And by the way, that's the guy that a lot of people thought if the Giants were going to take a slot receiver, why'd you not take that one, who was universally regarded as better than the one that you took? But we'll see if the new Giants GM was right. But there were a lot of new GMs doing the drafting. And I'll say this, if Bill Belichick was not
Bill Belichick,
then the stuff that would have been said about the Patriots draft, this is a dangerous thing to say. I'm worried about the Patriots going forward.
well, I will say, even people who grade the draft did not give the Patriots very strong grades.
No, I understand they're giving them bad grades, but honestly, if it was not Bill Belichick, the stuff that would have been verbalized about their draft. I mean, Mel Kiper's favorite rant 30 years ago he said the Jets don't understand what the draft is all about. I got to be honest with you. I had that thought when I was watching the Patriots draft. I'm like, wow. I mean, I know there was a time when you were the smartest guy in the room, but you need to be like the smartest guy in the room times 2 right now with the guys that you're drafting. And I look at their team and I see slow. I see unathletic. I did not like their draft at all. I really didn't. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, from a Dolphin perspective, I think they're hoping you're right.
But did not like it. And when I look at the Patriots as a whole, there's not one player on that team that concerns me on either side of the ball, to be honest with you. And I don't think you win with scheme. I think you win with Jimmys and Joes.
Miller and Moulton. We'll get into some of the Jimmys and Joes in the draft. We'll talk NHL as well coming up in around 20 minutes. Matt Cannata in a little over an hour right here on Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Name me one guy on the Patriots right now that concerns you if you're an opposing team. Either side of the ball.
Crickets. What, they have that one young wide receiver. What's his name? Can't even tell you his name.
Well, if you can't name him, he doesn't concern you. Yeah, but Jimmy, I don't understand that. They spent $300 million last offseason on free agents. So I got to admit, I'm concerned about the Patriots. I think it could go backwards here. And I liked their offseason last year. I pounded the table from the draft to the start of the season about the Patriots and the Vikings were the two teams that I like to bounce back and make the playoffs. I pounded the table for the Patriots for months. Do we want to do a Stanley Cup playoffs poll question?
What kind of question?
Do we want to just give a generic question? What grade would you give your team's NFL draft? A, B, C, D/F?
You can do that. I don't mind that at all. I just don't know where you go from hockey.
Yeah.
Will
I
you know,
know.
the only question I would have is, will Lord Stanley stay in Florida?
Yeah, I don't like the Vikings helping both the Lions and Packers get.
I at least thought their trade with the Packers got them value.
Yeah, I mean, okay, you trade 35 or whatever for
But it still ends up
53,
you
59.
end up trading 46 and 12. I mean, it whew.
Right. You traded 12 for 32, 34, and like 66.
And then you trade
And then
34.
you trade 34 for 53 and 59.
And people were praising him.
Well, they praised him. Yeah, I know. I don't get it. I just don't. Sorry. I also wasn't crazy about who they took. Yeah, RCB, you might be right. Judon, the defensive lineman.
The Vikings did a nice job grabbing draft picks and trades with desperate division rivals.
10 seconds.
Desperate division rivals. Two teams didn't seem desperate to me. They seemed calculated.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
It's 21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Sometimes the commercial breaks are devoted entirely to our Twitch audience. We answer questions,
Right.
have a nice back and forth.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes Felipe comes in to show off something.
Do a dance, show us a video.
But I feel like that commercial break was a little more therapeutic for one David Moulton, who is really having a tough time, despite the fact that many people think that the New York Football Giants had a nice draft.
Yeah, I know. They're wrong. I don't know what to tell you. They had a really good Thursday. Thursday worked out well. Picks 5 and 7. They didn't screw them up. And I like the order that they took them in. So that's terrific Thursday. Friday and Saturday, not so much. Really Friday. Wow. Not a good Friday. Sorry. And you know what I wish more people would do? And first of all, the Giants are never going to admit it, and no GM will. So this isn't just a Giants thing. But and a lot of GMs do this. You trade down and you think that guys are going to be there. And Pat talks about it all the time. It's simple math. If you're going to move down 5 spots, there needs to be on your board, we can live with any of these 5 guys. And I am telling you, the Giants, when they moved down from 36 to 38, and by the way, in doing so, gave the Jets the so-called best running back of the draft. Why would you move out of that spot? I mean, you've got Saquon Barkley in the final year of a contract, and you don't know if he's ever going to be Saquon Barkley again, quite frankly. And if he is, you're going to have to pay him. I mean, that's the other thing. He's making $7-8 million right now. If he's pretty good, he's going to want more than that.
We almost have to double it.
And so,
the 14 range.
Right. So why would you not draft the kid from Iowa State who everybody loves? Gives you some leverage with Saquon, gives you some flexibility. Maybe you trade Saquon for a pick. But okay, fine. They wanted an extra 5th round pick or whatever it was. They moved down 2 spots. Yeah, okay. Then they moved down 5 more. Well, listen, everybody knew that the Giants were looking for blank. Well, let me tell you, the teams ahead of them took everything they were looking for. The 2 corners, the one from Washington, the one from Clemson, who were both with 1st-round grades. Yeah, both taken. Best tight end of the draft, taken. I mean, everything the Giants said they needed, taken in those 5 spots. You got an extra 4th-round pick out of the deal. And you lost 4 guys who a lot of people thought would go in the 1st round by moving down 5 spots for an extra 4th rounder.
So I don't know if it was Daniel Bellinger or Dane Belton, 112, 114 overall, that they made that trade for, David, but they better turn out to be one hell of a player.
Yeah. I hope so.
And the odds are one of them won't make the team.
But they gave up on the best running back in the draft, the best tight end in the draft, and 2 guys who had 1st-round grades at corner, all for an extra 4th and a 5th. Okay, you better be right.
And even the Sparty running back, who was the 2nd best one, went 2 picks before they moved down at 41 to Seattle.
And then you took the undersized receiver from Kentucky. You didn't take Mechie. You didn't take Pickens. You didn't take the Sky wide receiver. I'm just, nobody points that out. There were a lot of GMs, okay, in which they moved down and they gambled, and sometimes they won, and sometimes they lost. And no one ever talks about, might have outsmarted yourself here. Better hit on that extra pick that you got because it just cost you so-and-so who you thought was going to be available. No one ever talks about that part of the draft. And you're never going to get the teams to admit it. Although Chris Greer and the Dolphins kind of sort of did yesterday. I mean, they only had 4 picks, but when they sat down and meet with the media, they kind of did say, well, we kind of had our mind looking for one guy, and he got taken shortly before us, which, of course, then everybody's trying to figure out who it was and what have you. But come on. I mean, that happens. I mean, the Jets traded up. Pat tells the story all the time. Jets traded up to a specific point in the draft in which they're like, we're going to get Brett Favre here. All right. And Atlanta, the pick before them, takes Brett Favre. And they got 2 quarterbacks. And the Jets are turning around looking at one another going, what the hell? How in the world? Belichick famously, the 1 year in Cleveland, Kyle Brady was going to take Kyle Brady. And he was drafted like 9th or 10th overall. And the Jets took him. And Jets kind of got wind that Cleveland was interested. And so the Jets took him. Belichick threw a tantrum, threw stuff all around the office with a minute left on the clock. They said, Coach, what do you want to do? He said, I don't know, trade the pick. So they traded down. It happens. No one ever talks about it.
Well, and it makes sense. The draft is a big game of poker.
Right.
And sometimes you can get away with a little bit of a bluff. Other times you better have the cards. The Jets this year had the cards. They used them, and the Eagles used them and did a terrific job.
I have no problem with teams taking 2 picks, moving up however many spots to select one guy and going, this is a starter for us. This is an everyday player for us.
Particularly like with and that's why the Packers thing amazed me. All we said is get a receiver, but they trade up to a guy. They need a receiver. And when you're an elite team, David, I think even more so, you would agree.
Yes. Yeah. They're really good. They've won 39 games the last 3 years. They just lost Devontae Adams. They had not addressed that in the first round of the draft when they had 2 picks.
And they lost Valdez-Scantling as well. I mean, they needed to.
And so everybody said they have to address receiver in the second round. Well, they took their 2 second-round picks, moved up, took the best receiver on the board. What's the problem? By the way, I like that move for the Vikings in this sense that at least to me, I thought that GM got value for that pick. Now, he did the deal with the Packers. I mean, there is a part of me that says, well, you almost have to do better than value. No offense here. Yeah, I know on paper that looks like a fair deal. You're Green Bay. You got to throw me a little something for the effort. I don't know, pick next year or something.
Well, and every time for the next 5 years that either the North Dakota kid or the Alabama kid scores against the Vikings, there's going to be a beat writer making a point about it.
Right. And the Vikings spent a bunch of picks on the secondary, and I had to laugh because they allowed Green Bay to get Watson and Detroit to get Williams. So I'm glad you beefed up in the secondary because you're going to need to cover the guys that you helped them get.
The only reason I wish that you were on certain parts of social media is because of the day after the draft. And obviously being a native Michigander, many friends of mine on Facebook are Michigan people, and all of a sudden they're pointing out the Lions draft and playoffs. You think it's going to be worse when Hard Knocks comes? I'm sure you would have a lot of Jets fans on there who would be going crazy. I love the days after the draft. The amount of hope that is around the National Football League right now is at an all-time high. None of these guys have played it down yet.
And the Ravens got a jobbo just sitting there. Although I think they moved up. But anyway.
They did.
Yeah. They got a jobbo.
And Kyle Hamilton.
And Kyler right now, not Kyler, although, boy, did the Cardinals take care of Kyler Murray. I mean, he should be very happy with them. For a guy who was not very happy with them 2-3 weeks ago, should be very happy with them. But it is interesting how apparently Lamar is not in a hurry to do a long-term deal. And if you're the Ravens, you're like, well, okay. The franchise tag right now for quarterbacks, I think, is 40. It's supposed to be the average of the top 5. Well, if you do that, that's 40 on the nose. And then I think it's a 20% raise the next year. So that's 40 and 46. I mean, if you're Baltimore right now, 40 for 2023 and 46 for 2024. Do that, right?
I can live with that.
Then whatever he's making this year. I mean, so you pay $105 million for 3 years for Lamar. That's $35 a year. That's less than the going rate for a top 10 quarterback, right?
I'd have no problem franchising him 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Let the chips fall where they may, particularly the way they run them.
So we'll talk with Matt Cannata a little more than an hour. Who he liked, who he didn't from the draft. The Stanley Cup playoffs get underway tonight. Nick Kypreos to talk about it next.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Canada relief. I ask you a really tough question. If the Lightning decide to make the Leafs Lightning series violent, do you think Toronto is man enough to return the favor? Because I don't. Which is why the series might be unbelievably physical, because I'll bet you the Lightning think, well, if we pound the shit out of this team, they'll cave.
So here's the thing.
Yeah. You've checked the phones.
Donkey, I agree. You have to include Russell Wilson when you grade the draft, but most people don't. They just look at the draft. All I'm saying is the so-called draft experts did not like Denver's draft. I don't have an opinion either way.
That whole road teams wearing white. The road team wears white. That's a Nike thing.
Well, it sucks.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, for example, and they require teams to wear sometimes their alternative jerseys at home. Game 5, the game that we closed out Atlanta, we were white hot, but we were wearing red. So it's like we were supporting the Hawks because they were wearing white. I don't know. How come in the NFL it's different though, and it's always been different?
NFL's always worn darks at home. That's the way football was. Every other sport did it the other way.
Mhm.
Every other sport.
Every
The only
other
one that
sport-
still does is baseball.
even hockey, they wore whites at home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Drives
For
me
the
nuts.
longest time.
Oh, you don't like that they wear
Hate
white.
it.
No, I prefer the whites at home.
Oh, because hockey's starting to do the NBA thing where they wear or they still
No,
wear-
they wear darks at home now. It's not an alternative.
Oh,
They wear darks at home.
Yeah, they switched.
I feel like you can only do this with baseball uniforms, but I love that every team in baseball has a gray uniform. I love the road grays. That's a hell of a play.
Yeah, he's safe.
Dang.
By the way, I will say I did not realize, like in college in the last 2 minutes, how they check everything, inbounds and tip plays. I didn't realize you ran out of challenges in the NBA. It's how little I've watched, because like that jump ball at the end of the Grizzlies game. That should have been a Warriors ball. That was off Memphis.
No, so what they're doing now to speed up the game and so that they don't review every single play is that if it's too close where it's indecisive, they'll just call jump ball.
Well, they were wrong because it wasn't close.
Yeah, because Memphis won the tip.
I saw it with my naked eye. I'm like, that's not right. The announcer showed it. Go, that should be Warriors ball.
Mhm.
Then they have a tip at center, and Memphis gets the tip.
Jeff, I get it. We're just saying we hate it. Yeah, like who's it? Can't see it on my screen. I thought the Bucks were the Celtics. Yeah, Milwaukee looked more like Boston yesterday. Mark was saying, hate the black Celtic uniforms.
Hate them.
I thought Baker would get traded. Thought he'd get traded Saturday.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
It is one of the greatest days of the year. It is the day that the Stanley Cup playoffs get underway. His name is on Lord Stanley's Cup. He's Nick Kypreos, Sportsnet 590 in Toronto. Find him on Twitter at Real KYPER. Nick, it's David and Mark once again. Hope you've been well. How are you?
I'm good, and I totally agree with you. It is Christmas morning for hockey fans.
All right. Here's the question, though, for Toronto hockey fans. Are they waking up afraid that there's a lump of coal in the stocking? I mean,
Are they staying in bed and not running down the stairs?
I mean, just try to help us out with the collective mood of Ontario and Canada at large right now, Nick.
They're running down the well, they're not running down the stairs, but they will go down the stairs. They will grab the package, and in all probability, they are some worried that it's a piece of coal. For a team that's had a franchise type of season, and that includes Austin Matthews scoring 60, and the that they've accumulated over a regular season. But there are a few up here that are not happy that led to a first round matchup against the Stanley Cup champions Tampa Bay. And regardless of what the standings tell you, regardless of starting at home and having home ice advantage, everyone feels like this is a very big ask out of this hockey club to beat Tampa.
Is it because physically they don't feel they match up? Is it just the difference in the nets, which I think we all agree is huge until proven otherwise? Is it the burden, 55 years as of today versus what the Lightning have done? Why is it that a team that was better than them in the regular season seems not well equipped to beat them in the postseason?
Well, the answer is yes. If you just start from a pure pen to paper, you certainly have to give the edge to Tampa Bay, regardless of what the standings say. When you start working from the net on out, you give Vasilevsky definitely a check mark over Jack Campbell. And even though the Leafs were able to go get Mark Giordano and Lyubushkin to add depth, it doesn't match up still with the likes of Hedman, McDonough, Sergachev, and Chernak. So, you're in all of that. And there is an advantage to the Stanley Cup champions. But saying that, they have some firepower, and they can outskate you. They can outskate Tampa. If the power play gets hot, it can be as dangerous as Tampa's. So that lends to an intriguing matchup here. And then a team that has to slay the dragon hasn't been out of the first round in close to 20 years. All of that comes into play. So I anticipate a great series. Can Toronto beat Tampa? I believe that they can, but so many things have to go right. And I think you got to find a Tampa Bay team that was as vulnerable as they were, 4 weeks ago, where people were talking about they're just running out of gas, they're tired, their stars aren't executing, Vasilevsky looks rather ordinary. Those are the things that have to creep in the first 2 games to give Leaf fans, I think, a shot of feeling like this is our time.
And, you know, that 8-1 drubbing that they put on Toronto a couple of weeks ago, I'm sure ringing in the heads of Leaf fan for sure. Let's talk about the other Florida team, Nick, the Panthers, because they're like Toronto, haven't won a first-round playoff series in a long time. In fact, it's their run to the Cup was the last time they won a playoff series. They win the President's Cup, and they get Ovechkin and Washington, who's been pretty darn hot. When you look at Florida, do they finally have what it takes to get out of the first round?
Yes, I believe so. And do they find a Ovechkin battled the shoulder injury out of a Toronto Maple Leaf game late in the season that he never really came back from? And that alone takes away an element of Ovechkin's game. He loves to hit this time of year. Everybody talks about the goals, but that guy brings a perfect element to Stanley Cup playoff hockey, where he's right there with Tom Wilson, one of the most feared hitters on the Washington Capitals. So see him show up in the first round, I don't think that element's going to be there for them. And yet, Florida has the same issues as the Toronto Maple Leafs out of the Eastern Conference, where you're not sure about their goaltending. You're not sure if they can defend, but we know that they can score. Do they want to get into a track meet every single night? No. But I think regardless, they're going to have enough to get by Washington. And Bobrovsky, is there anyone more motivated than this guy? $10 million goalie that everybody says disappears in the playoffs. Like, this is your chance, goalie Bob. Show us what you got.
That's why they got him. Granted, it was a little different regime ago, but that's why they got him to win this time of year. And he has had some playoff success, but he's also had some playoff failures. We're talking the Stanley Cup playoffs, which get underway tonight with Nick Kypreos of Sportsnet 690 in Toronto. All right. The other two Eastern series, Rangers home ice against Pittsburgh, and then Carolina with home ice against Boston. Which road team, if you will, do you give the best chance of winning?
I got to think the Boston Bruins. And we don't know about the goaltending situation. A lot of question marks with a lot of teams in the East when it comes to the goalie situation other than Tampa Bay. So this one, I think, puts Carolina in a little bit, in a tough situation. They've got a very deep team, but I just don't know. I think there's a tremendous amount of disappointment that Freddie Anderson, who had a very good regular season for the second consecutive year, isn't there for his hockey club. It happened in Toronto this time last year, and now it's happening in Carolina. And it sounds he's around and he could get going. The problem with him is every time there's a chance to be a number one goalie, he gets hurt. So I Boston Bruins, with all their experience and the fact that Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak are still at the top of their game, I don't know how deep Boston can get. Ultimately, out of depth. but I wouldn't bet against that perfection line. I'll start tonight against Carolina.
Is there a team you see in the first round that can physically just win a series, maybe the way you did in teams in that era played? Because there was a time 20 years ago that you could just go beat the snot out of somebody in the first round and get through it. The game's changed, but I think Carolina and Florida both a little on the soft side. Are they vulnerable to a really physical first series?
I'm glad ends up, whether or not we can see him at all in this series or not remains to be seen. They say he's close, but that's a big factor in how effective he can come back and be. Minnesota, to me, is a team that wants to, and it's been publicly stated by Billy Guerin, their general manager, we want to be able to beat you every which way, including in the alley. And they've got some big boys over there. So we'll see. Maybe we're talking about Minnesota Wild being that surprise team in a conference final, and it's only or mainly because they've been able to run teams over. The other thing, guys, is to keep an eye on, regardless of what series we're talking about, is how the game will be officiated.
Yes.
How much do you let go? How much should it play more in the hand of a team like Minnesota and less in the hand, say, of a skilled Toronto Maple Leaf team with Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews? The power play can decide a playoff series, but the question is, how many chances does it get to decide it? So keep an eye on that in the first period of any series that you're watching, how much leeway players get when it comes to physicality.
Well, and I think it's a big factor in the series that'll be on my mind because I'm a Rangers fan. The Rangers were not a great 5-on-5 team. The Rangers scored a bunch of power play goals. If the Penguins can stay out of the box or they allow the Penguins to play rough and don't penalize them, I think Pittsburgh wins the series. I really do. The Rangers are not a great 5-on-5 team. Out west, is it Colorado's for the taking, or is there somebody that you actually like in a 2-week matchup against them? Like I took the Kings against the Oilers because of the matchup. You know, LA's got two terrific defensive centers. Yeah. They've got the better goalie. You know, Edmonton's got the pressure on them. I just like that matchup for the upset. Is there a matchup out west that you like?
Yeah, I'm good with the favorites here. I really believe that Calgary's put the work in here to be okay. Colorado, heads will roll if there's anything less than a Stanley Cup final, I think, for Colorado. St. Louis is one of those teams that could end up in a conference final or a Stanley Cup final as well. And again, they're a team that's kind of sneaky good, whereas you don't think of them right off the bat, but they have big, strong guys. They've got shutdown guys. That Justin Falk is very underrated. He's the guy that replaced Pietrangelo when St. Louis Blues fans thought it was the end of the world when he signed with Vegas. And he has done an amazing job of filling that void. So, again, want to go back to goaltending. Ville Husso, will he come in and be the new Jordan Binnington this year and take the team to a Stanley Cup? Remains to be seen. But they might be a team that you got to keep an eye on in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Nick, when it's all said and done, who do you got in the finals?
I'll take a Tampa St. Louis final, I think.
Ooh, wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow, the last 3 Stanley Cup champions there. I like it.
I think there's a ton of motivation for Tampa, and I think for them, they've been smart enough over the last few years to understand what that the regular season's a dress rehearsal to the real thing, and it's going to be hard unless, again, Vasilevsky drops off the face of the earth and that defense takes a few nights off. I think Tampa's going to be tough to knock off. And I like St. Louis because I think some of their young players like Thomas and Jordan Kyrou can be stars in the playoffs here. And they've done a nice transition from the guys in the past that have won them Stanley Cups. So regardless, it's going to be fun to watch, guys.
Nick, thanks for making time for us. Continued success with Sportsnet 590 in Toronto. We appreciate it.
Guys, I appreciate the time as well. Have a great one.
Nick Kypreos, his name is on the Stanley Cup. You can follow him on Twitter at Real. It actually pronounces on Twitter as Kyper, Kyper, even though his last name is spelled differently. Real Kyper is how you follow him on Twitter.
Hockey players don't like phonetics. They just go with what's an easy nickname, okay?
Right.
Kypreos. Kyper.
Works
for me. St. Louis, that's a bold prediction.
It is, because that's taking out Colorado. Well, first off, it's getting by Minnesota, but they have owned the Wild, at least in the regular season. I think Minnesota has a goaltending question. You know, they've been rotating the guys and it's worked. Why can't you do it in the postseason? It's probably not how they'll do it, which means they're not going to go with Fleury. Really? Why'd you trade for him then? But it would mean St. Louis takes out Colorado in the second round. And that would mean your buddy Bednar got a contract extension. He'd be done.
Be the end of one Jared Bednar, and I hope that's not the case. He's been a very good guy to me over the years, and it's hard. I'm supposed to hate the Colorado Avalanche.
Right.
I'm a Red Wing fan.
Right.
And their head coach is a friend of mine. I would love to see Jared Bednar put that cup over his head. And at the same time, I can't believe I'm saying that out loud.
Out west, Edmonton favored over the Kings. Calgary favored over Dallas. It'll be a low-scoring series, but Calgary will get by. I think it's Colorado, and I'm really torn on the East.
Tampa.
Yeah, you're right.
To John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I will say a lot of people said the Lions D tackle that Josh Pascal was a big reach from Kentucky. I don't know what you're,
Are you serious? George Springer is making one great catch after another. Center field, right field. What stadium have you been to? The new Braves Stadium?
The other pick that I'm fascinated by was the 6th round pick, because I saw this guy when I was looking through my stuff, and he ended up this Tariq Woolen. I'm going to ask Pat about him. He is the corner from Texas San Antonio.
They had like 3 guys drafted.
Right, but this guy had a 3rd round grade, according to this guy. He's 6'4". He runs a 4.26. I'm like,
he was a wide receiver. I
know nothing about football.
I was watching the draft when he got taken. He was a wide receiver. He made the switch late in his college career, so he looks like a wide receiver. I thought they had him at like a 4.4.
Oh, Tennessee.
To be honest with you.
Okay, this is
right.
Could have been his own, but Tennessee took McCreary.
Yeah,
that's
I like
your guy,
that.
right?
Yeah,
Tennessee took him. But I was just fascinated by it. But he's 6'4".
Right.
And can run.
Right. Yeah, wide receiver.
And who's a great coach of defensive backs? Pete Carroll.
Correct.
I just
and
thought
they love
that.
they love bigger DBs.
I thought everything about that pick went, wow, that's right team, right guy, could be a stud.
Wasn't it like 5th round?
5th or 6th?
Yeah.
Like 117. That's 5th, I guess. Yeah. 5th round. And Canada Relief, they're not my Lions. I won't even jump on I would love to see them go to a Super Bowl for my old college roommate, Craig Caddy. That would make me happy. Because he was the poor bastard every Sunday that had to watch him and took it personally. The rest of us were waiting for the 4:30 game.
God, I'd pay real money to see the Panthers and Lightning play in a 2nd round series.
Be better if we had press credentials. You sent all those emails out last week?
Hell no. Oh, way.
Okay. You're going to start getting crap for not doing it now because you're not a college student anymore.
Hey, guys.
I don't care about your pickup games. I care about your job being a producer from this day forward.
He's like, "Oh, come on, man! I got one more week.
I know.
I got one more final. I don't graduate till Saturday.
My kid's going to finish this summer. I don't even want to pay his last 2 rent payments. He might. I haven't decided whether I'm paying him yet or not.
You calling Tony Fiorentino your guy? This is your guy.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And just like that, it's 2 hours down and 1 to go. Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network. The Florida Sports Network, Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network. He'll join us in a little more than 35 minutes' time. We'll just throw him in underhanded, the drafts he liked, the drafts he didn't, etc., etc. Round 2 of the NBA playoffs got underway yesterday, but the Heat round 2 get underway tonight. Hosting the Sixers, both teams battling injuries at the start of the series, Embiid and Lowry. Tony Fiorentino, longtime Heat broadcaster, assistant coach, three-time world champion with the Heat. Follow him on Twitter at TonyHeatWC3X. Tony, it's David and Mark once again. We figure since it worked so well for the Heat, we brought you on right as the Hawks series was about to begin and they won in 5. You know, we're superstitious, Tony. If you're willing to play along, we'll bring you in right before game 1 of the next 3 series as well, okay?
Sounds good to me, baby. Good job, guys.
Well, just, you know, the old proverbial throw it under him. What impressed you most about the Heat in round 1?
Well, Eric Spoelstra is very good with his staff on figuring out what the other team does well and taking it away. It reminds me a little bit, I've read a lot about Belichick in football. His approach to every game is to take the 2 things that a team does well and take it away from them. Make them go to their 3rd, 4th, and 5th option if you can do that. And it seems that that's what Coach Spoelstra does with his team. And they're so well connected that the players trust what the game plan is and they carry it out. And so obviously the game plan against the Hawks was to not let Trae Young dominate the series. And he didn't. I mean, he had more turnovers than he had field goals in that series. Nobody saw that coming before the series started. So I think what he's done this week, the last 3 days anyway, when he knew Philadelphia was the opponent, and then found out that Embiid couldn't play, so that changed the strategy a little bit. And what's going to be intriguing to me for this series is that at least for the first 2 games, Embiid's not going to play. Now, what happens if Embiid comes back in game 3? Well, now you got 1 day to change your approach to how you defend them. And so it makes it a playoff series there's always a lot of nuances in it. And you not only change from game to game, but you got to make changes within a game because every possession is so important. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
Well, and not to get too nitty gritty in X's and O's, but the thought was that the Heat were as well equipped to face an Embiid or anybody with bigs, Giannis with Milwaukee, as any team in the league because of Bam and how physical they are in their team defense. So now if Philly's going to have to go small, Tony, if this is going to have to be Harden like with the Rockets for a couple games, do you like how Miami matches up if they have to go small?
Well, that's a good question. I think one of the advantages the Heat have is that they can defend big and they can defend small because they've got so many good defenders. The intriguing thing about guarding someone like Embiid and Giannis for the Heat is that they very often, the Heat switches a lot on defense. And it's up to the other team, the opponent, to figure out where the advantage is and take advantage of it. Well, very often, if you watch the Heat play during the regular season, you'll find P.J. Tucker or Butler guarding Giannis or Embiid, and they get away with it because they don't just guard them one-on-one. They rotate, they trap. And one of the things that the Heat does really well when they do trap, 2 things. They don't let him loose. They don't let him get out of the trap. They really keep him in it. Because if he gets out of it, now they got a 4-on-3 against you. But the second thing is, the whole thing about trapping is you don't want the player that's being trapped to make a direct pass to a teammate. You want him to throw a little bit of a lob pass. And then that gives you an extra second or 2 to rotate and close out on shooters, rotate to guys cutting to the lane, things of that nature. And the Heat have perfected that. So I think what you're going to find tonight is I think Doc Rivers is going to go small because he really doesn't have a lot of size anyway, other than DeAndre Jordan. And they'll spread the court and see if they can use Harden's skills to take people off the dribble because Harden's the kind of player where he could get 40 points and 15 assists. We know that. We've seen him do it in the past. And so you got to try to limit him in his effect on the game in that way.
What's more important to take away, the 40 points or the 15 assists? I mean, is it a little bit of, hey, I'll let him score, but I don't want him distributing the ball all over where other guys are open? How do you defend Harden?
Yeah, I think you don't want him to get those 15 assists. The Heat have had big scoring games against them and still won the game. They had a 40, I forget who it was late in the season. Someone had a 45-point game against the Heat, and the Heat won. Well, maybe not 45, but it was up there somewhere. You don't want a guy to dominate the game by breaking you down so much. And then that's a psychological thing too, where a guy's just picking you apart and you don't know where to go and what to do and all that. So I think basically you try to contain Harden, make him earn every basket. They're calling fouls differently now than they used to, where he used to get to the line 16 times a game sometimes. So I think you want to play him to not dominate the game as a passer, and then you got to deal with deal with people like Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey. Those two guys are very capable of having 30-point scoring games. So it's going to be intriguing to watch the chess match tonight with how Coach Spoelstra and his staff have prepared for this. And let me tell you something. Coach Spoelstra's got a lot of great qualities. One of the qualities that he has that Coach Riley had, when he used to give Pat Riley 2 or 3 days to prepare for an opponent, or give Spoelstra 3 days to prepare for an opponent, they usually come out on top. And so that bodes well for the Heat tonight.
Yeah, and you got to figure the Heat have been prepping for the Sixers because they were up 3-0 on Toronto, so they were getting ready for him. Tony Fiorentino, longtime Heat broadcaster, assistant coach. Follow Tony on Twitter, Tony Heat WC 3X. No Lowry, at least at the beginning of the series. It didn't hurt him against Atlanta. How do you think it affects them at the beginning of this series? As we've just mentioned, we think that Philly's going to have to go small. Lowry would be part of that. He's not going to be there. How do you think they handle that?
Well, this is where what you did all season comes in. Once the playoffs start, they tell you everybody starts at 0-0, which is right. But you created all those habits during the season. For example, if you weren't a good defensive team all season, you're not going to become a good defensive team in the playoffs, because it's a lot harder with the game, raising the game to a different level. And so what I'm getting at is that the Heat all year have been able to overcome guys being out. That's the main reason why they were able to have the best record in the Eastern Conference. The depth has helped them, and the attitude of Coach Spoelstra with that depth. Some coaches say next man up, but they really don't mean it. For example, if you got 2 stars out on a particular night, what most coaches would do is the 3 other starters, they may play 45 minutes and play your subs less. Coach Spoelstra doesn't do that. He has been relying on his guys all year, and they gain the confidence, they gain the experience. A guy like Gabe Vincent had a couple of 27-point games during the season as a backup point guard. And so they've been through this. It doesn't faze them at all that Lowry's out. Now, you don't want to play without Lowry, especially as you go deeper into the playoffs. You're going to need him to make a championship run. So you got to try to hold the fort until he gets back.
They're favored, obviously, but if the Heat don't win this series, what's the reason why, in your estimation? What is it they can't afford to do in this series? They're obviously the better team. We all think they should win. If they don't, in your estimation, what goes wrong?
Well, there's 2 things that if you watch the Heat play all year that is customary for them. They do go through a little lull during the game offensively. Now, I think every team does that. And people don't realize their home team, they only see their home team play a lot. They don't realize that other teams go through the same thing you guys go through. So I think they've got to eliminate some of those lulls, or maybe lessen them, the length of them. They've been, at times they give away leads. They usually prevail. But the second thing is, to me, the most important thing for the Heat is turnovers. They've been prone to have more turnovers, and I know Coach Spoelstra's not happy with that, as you can hear my dogs on either.
Right.
So it's the turnovers, I think. If the Heat don't come away as a winner in this series, I think the first thing you got to look at is the turnovers.
Tony, you're the good luck charm. All right.
I like that.
All right. Hope to talk to you again before game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. Be well.
I'm looking forward to it, David and Mark. Keep up the good work, Dave.
Tony Fiorentino, longtime Heat broadcaster and assistant coach.
And good luck with your next segment with Felipe.
Although the dogs, he might be, Felipe's yelling at the phone. Yep, had to go take care of the dogs. Sorry, Felipe. Tony Heat WC3X.
Dang.
Is how you can follow him on Twitter. Turnovers, and occasionally they can't put the ball in the ocean from three. They got away with it in game 5 against the Hawks. They shot horribly from beyond the line. I think PJ Tucker is big. How he was in that Nets-Bucks series last year, where Tucker just sacrificed himself to defend. I think PJ Tucker is just going to have to totally give himself up to make life as hard as possible on Harden.
Miami Heat at times throughout the season weren't the best at opening up the third quarter either, or the second half, I should say. Yeah, the signature Miami Heat third quarter.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
It's on a couple message boards there.
Yeah.
All right. So there's our scouting report. Embiid at least going to miss the first 2 in Miami is the word if you missed it. Broken right orbital bone and suffered a concussion in that Game 6 win over the Raptors. Heat haven't played since Tuesday. So, in fact, and I think Philly played Wednesday. So both teams are rested and ready to go. They're just both battling injuries. No Embiid, no Lowry.
And what's the timetable for Lowry?
Mid-30s. It's a hamstring. I think later rather than sooner, personally. I also think the series may determine. No sense rushing him back.
And he plays physical, so got to be delicate with that one.
I think Oladipo is also a big factor in this series for the Heat. What a signing that's going to turn out to be. Miller and Moulton. Matt Cannata talking NFL draft in 25 minutes.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Here comes Mark.
Out of my chair. When you know what? When you email for credentials for everybody, you can come and do as much FaceTime as you want.
Okay.
All right. You can have every camera. I'll get you your own damn camera. Jefferson.
Canada, precisely this weekend, because my mother will be here.
Oh, she doesn't like the stash?
Oh, I FaceTimed her the other day, and she's like, yeah, that thing's going to be gone, and you're going to have a haircut by the time I see you.
Yeah, you might as well for the graduation. Where's your graduation? At
Alico.
It's at Alico?
Yeah. Saturday.
Are you going to put something stupid on your hat?
No.
Because that'll tick your mom off too.
No. Let's just get this over with. Let's go. Cool. Hi. That's my name. Yep. All right. I'm out of here.
They got you got a little brunch or a little lunch planned after?
Yeah. No, actually, I don't. I have a dinner planned, but not a brunch.
Where are you going for dinner? Where are they taking you?
Gulf Coast Town Center at
Saturday.
Yeah.
Something Di Viento or not Gulf Coast Town Center, Coconut.
Oh yeah. The Italian joint there.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. They have one in Miami, actually.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
So obviously I missed the last minute or so. So have you worked out the insurance part of the equation here?
Insurance? Oh, the car.
Yeah. And the
I thought the young lady. I don't know what the young lady thought about it, but she was in Gainesville this weekend for her sister's graduation. So this week I will have more progress.
Graduation's this weekend. I mean, like, you need to not play around.
I know.
I don't want you to get screwed.
I set an appointment with the Caliber Collision Center. They said that they wouldn't be able to get me in until late May, and I explained them the situation. I was like, listen.
So you have all the info, though. You have all her pertinent information, so that if she never talks to you again,
I have a picture of her driver's license.
You have her insurance information.
Yes, just you. That's not important.
All right. All right. That's it. I'm done caring about you.
Okay, cool. And we were talking about it because I went on the screen and they were talking about my mustache, that by Friday it'll be gone because my mother will be here.
Well, I came back. I came back in and he's plopped in my seat, and all I said to him is, "I'll give you your own damn camera when I see proof that the emails for credentials across the state have gone out."
There you go.
I'll draft that up.
So are we going to triangulate it here?
No, I just what I'll probably like Seth. Yeah, like
Right.
if it'll be like this most of the time.
During breaks, maybe we'll punch him
during
up.
breaks we'll punch him up. If we give him his 24-second shot clock,
right?
There's not that much NBA left.
Doesn't matter.
Well, you can talk about other
I
things.
can talk about anything.
You get 24 seconds with a
24
clock
seconds,
behind you,
right.
and when the horn goes off, you've got to be done, even though you control the microphones.
I'll go to plenty of Marlins games this summer. I'll have something to talk about.
It can be something that's not like based within 150 miles of here. Also,
True. It could be about a signing or about my personal life for 24 seconds.
Yeah, I don't even know if he can get a police report because the car was gone. It was in a parking lot. Police don't really do anything about dings in parking lots.
not down here. They don't. Hell, they wouldn't do anything about my wallet being stolen. We had the guy on video who took it. They came in. They literally said, "We're not interested." And so of course I said, "Wait, you're not interested in doing your job?"
It's always a good starter.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, in a little more than 15 minutes time. So is our poll question up?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Imagine that.
It's a simple one. And we're just asking you, how do you think your team did in the NFL draft? Doesn't matter what your favorite team is. Just what grade would you give your team in the NFL draft? A, B, C, and the last one's D/F.
I love the text that we get over the weekend. I really do. This one in particular. Very disappointed in Bucks draft. Don't know if they are drinking or what, but this draft seems like a blank show. Seems like they've passed on a lot of good players. Ridiculous draft. And it came at different times.
Right.
The last text was 6 hours after the first one.
Okay. I mean, they didn't have a ton of picks. I'm sure they could have done better, but what I found interesting was they took 2 tight ends. Now, I will say this. Remember, O.J. Howard's gone. Cameron Brate's entering the final year of a deal. No idea. Shouldn't say no idea, but no guarantee that Gronk comes back. And if he does, I think we're all believing it's on a 1-year deal. The Bucs have already shown they like their tight ends. I mean, they have used 3 of them these last 2 years, Gronk, Brate, and O.J. Howard. And so I do think that this is insurance at a position where they can afford it.
And look, I don't know anything about the Central Michigan linemen they took in the second round. All I know is that Central Michigan continues to put linemen in the league. One after another after another.
Yeah, I think both tackles got drafted. We saw them, by the way, against Washington State. When I say we, I mean CBS in the Sun Bowl. And they played really well. Now it's Washington State, but just saying.
But it is a MAC team against a Pac-12 team, and they were just fine.
Yeah, with no notice, by the way. So basically it was just show up, run your plays, and
see if they can block you.
Yeah, and they handled themselves just fine.
I mean, they got the D end out of Houston, one of the edge rushers.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought they were okay. I could see where Bucs fan maybe is not thrilled about doubling up at the tight end position. The one thing I will say, didn't they give up a pick in next year's draft, though? They made a trade, I thought, in the 4th round and gave up a 4th-round pick next year. So and if I'm right about that, that's somebody you got to circle and go, well, I hope this guy pans out.
By the way, you want to text the show. It's very simple to do. The keyword is FSN Radio. If you've never texted us before, text that. FSN Radio, all one word. Text that to 21,000. Once you've done so, as many of you know, you're behind the green door. And then you can text your heart's content. For those of you that want to get a little bit more intimate with the show, twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. That'll get you around a lot of the commercials and allow you to interact with the host during the commercial breaks, as well as our producer, Felipe, who will make his way over from time to time so you can see his 70s porn mustache.
Which apparently is just about done. Apparently there is a life expectancy on the stash because graduation is Saturday.
So now, because you're just from the other coast, your parents are just buzzing in and buzzing out. It's like going to Wisconsin, right? They're not coming Friday night, spending the night or anything like that, are they?
No, they are.
Oh, they are. Do they stay with you?
No.
I don't know. I don't know how these things go.
Hell no.
Are they staying Saturday night?
Yeah. We're having breakfast Sunday morning, and then they're leaving.
So let me get this straight. This is a Friday night dinner. Okay, then it'll be a Saturday night dinner and then a Sunday brunch.
Yes.
Wow. How many Heat playoff games are they getting in the way of here?
Friday, I conveniently chose a place with TVs for that reason. I said, listen.
Okay. Can I give you a little bit of advice from the parents' point of view? All right. This is a really big deal to the parents.
Oh.
They have put a lot of time and money into this 17-year journey of yours. I don't think mom, particularly mom, dad, I don't know, might understand. I don't think mom's going to be thrilled with your undivided attention when you're paying more attention to game 3 of the Heat Sixers.
And why didn't you just send an early dinner reservation?
Yeah, it's Southwest Florida.
Get them back to the hotel by 8:30. You got the whole second half.
Well, the game's at 7. That's the thing.
All right.
So you can't go that early.
Well, so you can in Southwest Florida. I mean, goodness sakes, you could have a 5 o'clock dinner reservation. 5 o'clock.
They are from Miami. They're not used to that.
No, I understand.
Yeah, it's 100% true, by the way.
But you can just say, hey, when on this coast, you got to adapt.
And by the way, the grandparents are coming too.
Oh, well,
so this
no
isn't even.
Oh, well, then you get a super early dinner.
I know.
Yeah, really, 4:30.
This is an even bigger deal.
I mean, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're not watching Game 3. No, you're not. You just have to say.
Oh, that it would be.
Yeah, it's Game 3 in Philly. You can't. I'm sorry. You got to sacrifice that one to the gods.
I would just set the DVR.
Yeah.
And plan on going back to your apartment and
yeah,
not putting the phone down. It can be done.
Look, my parents are aware of my madness. They asked me, there's a Heat game that night. Do you want to go somewhere where there's TVs? I was like, yes.
Okay, they're being polite.
They're being polite.
They're being polite.
Because they know.
This is a really big deal to the parents. All right? It really is.
And the playoffs are a very big deal to me.
I kid you not, and I may get in trouble for this. My daughter graduated college and got married a week apart. The college graduation was a bigger deal to me.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's because you invested.
Smart money.
Damn right. You're damn right. I invested 17 years in this. This is,
all right.
Yeah. I'm not being a jerk here. Now, I may be a jerk by having that point of view, but I'm not kidding. The college graduation, that was the culmination. I mean, I devoted 20 plus years of my life for this moment. I can't believe I'm going to quote Barkley and Chris Rock here. Okay, but I mean, honestly, one of your jobs as a parent is just get them through college, safe, happy, with as little student loan debt as possible. I mean, honestly, and then you feel as if you look up to the gods and you go, okay, I'm not rooting for anything bad the rest of the way, but 90% of my job's done, right? Right?
Felipe, and maybe I know it'll be different with my daughter than with my son, but my son could walk this week like you. He's got a couple more classes to take this summer, but they don't have a summer graduation where he goes to school. So he literally could walk. He's not. His mom is bent. Me, the guy who paid for every bit of this. And when I say every bit of it, I mean every single bit. I could not care less. I'm not flying to East Carolina to watch him walk. I was thinking about flying up for his birthday, and giving him a good birthday weekend, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. But I'll make a trip up there this summer. We've already talked about it. I said, what do you want for your graduation? How about you take me on a fishing trip, Dad? Done.
Exactly. Honestly, my parents are so mad at me because I'm not really making this that much of a big deal as they
You don't have to. All you have to do is get the piece of paper.
Exactly. And it's not even a legitimate graduation ceremony. It is a walkthrough. It is a 15-minute time frame where they call your name. There's no speaker. There's no special guests telling us all this motivational whatnot. Just get the paper and get the hell out of here.
What do you need motivation for? You got Miller and Moulton every morning.
Exactly.
And besides, you can always queue up a Spolstra or Riley thing. You don't need a motivational speaker.
I didn't really think we were motivational speakers.
We're not. It's tough love.
I was going to say.
It's tough love.
FGCU, good game. Goodbye.
Okay. It's a big deal for mom, dad, and the grandparents.
It's a big deal for mom.
Well, guess what? Because of COVID, I'm the first grandchild that my grandparents are going to see graduate.
See?
So that is a huge deal.
Okay. Once again, I'm telling you, game 3 just needs to be pushed to the side. Take one for the team.
It's the day before.
Take one for the team, Felipe. Take one for the team.
They paid for everything. And shave.
And get a haircut.
Well, at least do something with it. Man. Matt Cannata, we'll talk draft, I guess.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I hope they do.
I'm going to a barber right after the show.
It's probably good because then any mistakes that are made got about 3-4 days to work themselves out.
Mm-hmm.
He says he's going to a barber right after the show.
A barber?
A place to get my hair cut.
No, I understand. With that head, you should never be in a barbershop. You need a salon. You need a chick working on that hair.
Yeah, totally. In fact, you need to announce to her, you need to go, hey, I'm graduating college and my grandparents are coming. And she goes, oh, well, we need to get her invested in, it's not just another young kid's head of hair here.
I haven't been able to set myself in stone with a hairstyle.
Well,
you two have.
Yeah, you know who did mine?
Who?
My stylist. She's responsible for this.
Who's your
I do
stylist,
sports.
Your wife?
No. Her stylist, though. Lisa's her name. I pay way too much for a haircut. I'm embarrassed of what I spend.
Is it north of 50?
With tips, it's right there.
Oh, God.
It's $38.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to tip well.
Oh,
Especially if it's
you got to not only tip the stylist, but I got to tip the girl who shampoos my hair. And the last one that did it, it was worth the extra $5 because that was like a 4-minute head massage. It was wonderful.
But see, I agree that like women, I should probably get a woman working on this because there's
She's got a lot of hair.
A lot to tame.
This just in, if you're referring to it as this, yes, you should have a woman working on it.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, that's an accurate description.
But at the same time,
this,
if I'm trying to get a fresh cut, I should probably get a man on the job.
No.
Listen, there's a barbershop on Red Road and Coral Way in Miami, Florida, and they do me right.
Well, first off, there's big city barbershops, and then there's you go to a Southwest Florida barbershop, you get a military cut.
Yeah, where the hell am I going?
There's a place on the right that's not bad. Like Scavelli's or something like that. You know what I'm talking about, David, right by the Little Caesars there.
Oh, on 41?
Up the
when
road.
you go out and make a right.
Yeah.
I used to go there a lot. There's a gal in there that does a really good job.
Okay. Just don't want to go to some generic place. So I don't know.
My haircuts cost $30. 20 for the haircut, 10 for the tip.
I'm not getting a fade right now, am I? Tyler Hero?
Getting the Tyler Hero. If there's a cut you like, you should walk in with a picture of it on your phone and you turn it and you go, you think we could do something like this? Seriously.
I have something like that.
I always do the same thing whenever I go. Look, I do sports for a living. You do hair. Go.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
But you have enough hair that you could actually, but it's scary though, because you could go to someone, you could come out with something
Yeah,
if you said that, you could come out with them not cutting anything, and all of a sudden you've got a poof.
the war that I've had with my mother on my hair.
Well,
It's
that war is 4 days from being over.
Yep.
After your
That's
haircut
the
on
other
Friday,
thing.
she can never tell you how to do anything.
I don't
again.
even think it'll be good enough. It's
Doesn't-
never
Yes,
good
it
enough.
will.
It's
Yes, it
never
will.
good enough with
Yes,
her.
it will. Yes, it will.
I
In
agree
fact,
with Canada Relief. You do tell whoever's cutting your hair, I graduate on Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
My mom is coming and my grandparents are coming. You need to look right at them and go, I need this to be your best haircut today. No, sir, I'm not
it's
playing
not.
around.
No,
And then you give them a 10 spot when you're
I
done.
like it.
And you got to tip them.
I like
You
it.
got to
Okay?
tip them.
Got to tip them. I go, but if I need this to be your best haircut today.
Okay. I know it's early.
I know where
but
I'd send you, but she doesn't cut hair anymore.
let's boss up here.
And the other thing you should do, all right, since this is it, give your mom a win. Give your mom a win.
I mean, the mustache is
You
coming
don't
right
have
off.
to listen to her after Sunday.
I know.
So give your mom a win.
So where's you have breakfast picked out for Sunday? Where you going?
Oh crap! I don't think I do.
Skinny Dogs.
So, whoa. Who? Where?
2 places. Skinny Dogs.
Let me make a phone call.
I got you. Fancies might be the better call. Closer.
Thanks for listening. And now, more of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us on this Monday after the draft, on this Monday where the Stanley Cup playoffs get underway. Oh, I'm getting emotional. Man, I love the Stanley Cup. I don't care who's playing. This is like World Cup soccer to me, Mark. Costa Rica, China, I'm in.
No, you and I both.
Don't care. This is where very little sleep also. This is when you and I are sending each other texts. Are we in?
So I got to figure out how much West Coast hockey I'll be into in the first round. It'll be hard for me to get those 10 o'clock starts. I don't even know if I'll get to them. But I will say any of those East Coast games, they were showing one of the previews here as we were doing an interview. I looked up and saw Keith Primo scoring the 5th overtime.
There you
and
go.
got goosebumps, and that's 20-some years ago.
2:20 a.m. I remember where I was when he scored it. Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, profootballnetwork.com, PFN 360. Follow Matt on Twitter, Cannata, 2 N's, 1 T, PFN, Cannata, PFN. Matt, David, and Mark, once again, have you gotten any rest?
I crashed on Saturday night at like 10 o'clock. And then yesterday, I tried not to look at the computer the entire day. I got like 8 hours of sleep during the 3 days of the draft. It was great.
Well, it was great for a lot of teams. Who was it the best for in your estimation?
You know, the Jets and the Ravens had really good drafts on paper. Obviously, we won't really know until we actually start playing the game. But, you know, from what we saw and from what our analysis showed, the Jets and the Ravens really did a really good job of getting value, of taking advantage of, you know, when some teams were running on a position, they were kind of going the other way. Just looking at the overall kind of way they structured their roster, of the way they put things together. So you look at the Jets, for example, right? You know, they picked Sauce Gardner at the 4th overall pick. They come back and then help Zach Wilson with Garrett Wilson. Then they take advantage of Jermaine Johnson falling down the board. Jermaine Johnson was our number 1 player on the PFN consensus board. And I guess there were some concerns that we started learning about as he was falling and as we started looking into it, you know, whether it's character concerns, whether it was, you know, work ethic concerns or this or that. But to get Jermaine Johnson at 26th pick in the first round, that's incredible value. We give that grade an A+. And then, you know, then they help again, Breece Hall on the offensive side as well. So kind of just the way they went back and forth in ping pong, you know, is really setting up Zach Wilson for a ton of success this season. And there's not going to be any excuses. The Ravens picking Kyle Hamilton. I think we spoke about Kyle Hamilton before the draft process. Remember, we talked about the safety position and there not being, you know, a ton of value for that. And so while he might be a top 5 player in the draft, he was probably going to drop to the team. And the Ravens always seem to do this. They always seem to take that player who no one else is grabbing, and then they grab onto that player. And that's exactly what they did with Kyle Hamilton. Tyler Linderbaum, another player, nasty offensive lineman that, the center that can plug and play from day one, who was dropping out of round one and a lot of run up to the draft. And they picked him at pick 25. David Ojabo, top 5 player, injury. Yeah, he might not play this year. He might be slow to come back, but he's going to be a dynamite player when he does get on the field. So, for us, the Jets and the Ravens really stuck out a lot.
All right. 2 or 3 teams in which you look at and you just kind of scratch your head and go, not quite sure what you guys were thinking.
We have to start with the Patriots, right? Like, what were they doing? Cole Strange. We gave the Patriots an overall grade of a C, but the Cole Strange pick and even Tyquan Thornton and Marcus Jones, what were they doing? Let's put it this way. Cole Strange was so far down our consensus board that we didn't even have graphics for him, either on social media or our video production that we were running through the draft. And to have him at pick 29, that raises some antennas and some eyebrows. Tyquan Thornton, another one that was kind of far down our consensus board rankings, gets picked in that middle part of the second round. And so, I'm not really sure what the Patriots were thinking with this. And I know, they had, different personnel in the room this year because of Nick Caserio going down to Houston and different people running the show there. So we're not really sure what the Patriots are doing, but we've also know that Bill Belichick is not the greatest drafter either. And so whether he had more influence this year or not remains to be seen, but there are some questions that need to be answered out in New England.
Jacksonville with Trayvon Walker. Do you like the pick at 1 overall? Do you think the Jags had a good draft, or how would you assess what Jacksonville did?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, Trayvon Walker, let me put it this way first. Everyone says, oh, this guy's rising up the draft boards. That's not really true, right? It's the media catching up to this. And so Trayvon Walker was probably always in the mix for the Jaguars. And I think we were one of the first to report at ProFootballNetwork.com that Trayvon Walker was in consideration. We reported several days before the draft that it seemed to be like a 3-way face-off between Doug Peterson, who was rumored to like Iquem Ekwonu, the offensive lineman, Shad Khan, who was rumored to like Aiden Hutchinson, and Trayvon Walker, who GM Trent Baalke was rumored to like. And they settled on Trayvon Walker. Now, you could have went. I don't think they would have ever gone Kayvon Thibodeau. There's too many concerns about Kayvon who went to the Giants with character, work ethic, and so forth. You're not going to take a gamble on that. Aiden Hutchinson, I think, is a phenomenal player. And the toss-up between Trayvon and Aiden, that move is going to be watched quite a bit for several years to see which one turns out to be the better pick. Trayvon Walker is not a bad player by any means, right? But Aiden Hutchinson, I think, is the more household name. If you look at the rest of the Jaguars draft, we think they did a pretty good job getting good value. Luke Fortner, round 3, pick 65, gave that a B+. Devin Lloyd, the linebacker at the end of round 1, we gave that an A. Chad Muma and any other linebacker in round 3 gave that an A. So overall, we thought the Jaguars had a pretty good draft. All
right. A question in our Twitch chat room. Why did the Dolphins take a quarterback with their last pick, especially since they only had 4? Why Ezekana instead of a center? And he was wondering, is a J.C. Treader signing imminent? Is he still available?
I believe J.C. Treader is still available. And they picked a QB to battle Tua. No, I'm kidding about that. All the Tua fanatics are going to go crazy right now. Did they pick a quarterback for competition? I mean, that's a practice squad player, right? That's somebody who's going to be able to run the scout team, probably get some athleticism on the field and give the defense different looks and mimic some of the more athletic QBs in the AFC East and around the league. And so I would not read too much into it, especially toward the end of the draft. I think a lot of people agree that you should always take a QB until you find one, even if you have a QB. And so I think this is, part of what the Dolphins are doing, but also more likely that practice squad, that depth, another arm, and then maybe they'll be able to get something, out of it. The other question was what? Which one?
Ezekana instead of a center?
Yeah. We have to trust Mike McDaniel on that one, right? You probably have to go back and look at the board and see who was available. We gave that grade an A+. Ezekana was, I believe, the 72nd rated player on the PFN consensus big board at that time. And he went at pick 125. And so, for him, while he never had more than 50 catches or 750 yards in a season, he doesn't have the elite production profile that you see many of the wide receivers do have. We believe here at PFN that he has just as much athleticism as any other wide receiver out there. And we think that, he can be that 3-level threat. He can get the short passes, the intermediate, and the deep passes. He's 6'2", 209 pounds. He has great range and density, really good length and arms, that measure 33.5. And, the biggest thing with him, his biggest threat is run after the catch. And as we know, that's what the Dolphins are valuing now with Tua in this offense.
All right, the Bucks, they get the DN, the edge rusher from Houston. I kind of laughed. I don't know a lot about Central Michigan offensive linemen. All I know is that they seem to go to the league and they seem to play for a decent amount of time. So when you look at the Bucks draft, how do you grade that out?
Yeah, we graded the Bucks draft as a B+. And, they didn't have obviously a lot of needs coming into the draft. And, we thought that they left the draft getting significantly better. And you're right. Some fans and some Bucks fans will struggle to get excited about a Central Michigan offensive tackle. Well, our draft analysts at PFN believe that he could develop into a Pro Bowl caliber guard for the Buccaneers. And, they added another running back here to kind of help complement. And what we think about Rachaad White, we gave that grade a B+, but he is a guy who can catch out of the backfield and take it up the field and get the yards after the catch. So our draft analysts think that, White's going to be a star in Tampa Bay. And we think that them taking Zion McCollum in the 5th round is an absolute steal.
So let's just get this straight. Talking with Matt Cannata of Pro Football Network. Jets had an outstanding draft. Do you think that the Lions also had a very good draft?
The Lions, and that was where we talked about leading up to the draft, right? That's where it could start. And obviously they ran to the board with Aiden Hutchinson. And they started out pretty good. I mean, you can't go wrong with Aiden Hutchinson. So we gave that a B+. Overall, when you look at the team, did they get better? They added a pass rusher. They added a wide receiver in James Williams. The Jazz, Josh Paschal pick was weird. We gave that a D+. We thought they reached quite a bit on that one. But otherwise, Kirby Joseph was a solid pick. We gave that a B+. We think, what the Lions might be doing, and even the Falcons too. We had talked about this with our staff during the draft. You look at the 2023 QB class. The Lions have officially entered the Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud sweepstakes by not selecting a QB, and the Falcons did too. They brought in some talent to build a foundation, but they're going to be at the point where they're still not going to be a really great football team, and they're probably, unless they overachieve, probably going to get a top 5 to 7 pick, which puts them right in prime target for these bevy of QBs that are going to be coming into the 2023 draft.
As we were doing our first round coverage, and that David and I always do a first round show on Twitch, when the Lions made the trade with the Vikings, when we tried to do the trade value, we thought the Vikings lost, and yet most of the people who do this for a living were very impressed with the Vikings draft. Your overall thoughts on their trades, what they did, and how the Vikings did in this draft?
Yeah, so let's start with the trade here and the Vikings. And so the Vikings traded the 12th and the 46th pick to the Lions, right, for the 32nd, 34th, and 66th pick. And when you kind of break that down and you look at, I think the biggest thing is the value in this draft and what, GMs look at in the future and what that could mean for them. And so, the chart might say one thing and some of the charts they use are outdated and this and that, but we think overall that was a pretty decent trade for the value. Going on to what the Vikings actually did, with the new GM, the new head coach over there, Lewis Stein in the first round, great pick to safety. Again, the value that, he probably is one of the top 20 players in the draft, but getting a pick 32 just because of his position. Andrew Booth, another really good pick. We gave him an A+. Ed Ingram was a solid pick. Looking at round 4, pick 118, Caleb Evans, that's an A for us. And, the Vikings kept the tradition. We saw it with Rick Spielman so many times, trading back and picking players that will now elevate a secondary that is in desperate need of talent with the selections of Stein and Andrew Booth. The Ed Ingram pick, we gave a B-, but we do believe that was a little bit of a stretch. But Brian Asamoah, he's going to bring great athleticism to that linebacker room. Day 3, we know, is kind of a lottery pick. It's more hit or miss. And while, we can say here on paper that a guy like, he says Yota Memo and Darian Lowe are kind of reaches, we think that Evan Chandler and Jalen Naylor are more proven commodities and will be able to make an impact for the Vikings.
All right. Can you humor me? I'm a Giants fan. I thought that.
Oh, no.
Yeah. No. Well, thank you, because I thought they had 9 picks Friday and Saturday. I thought they only got 2 of them right. Everybody's giving them B pluses on the draft. I thought they did not have a good draft.
Our draft analyst gave them a B. I would probably go a little lower personally. I think the Kayvon pick was fine. I still have a lot of concerns about Thibodeau. I'm not really sure that he's going to pan out to be the guy that he needs to be. Evan Neal, great pick, right? They offensive tackle. The Panthers, when you look at them, they did not expect Equano to be there at 6. They were probably going to go Charles Cross. Equano was there, which brought Evan Neal down the board and right into the Giants' laps. Then I think Dave Gettleman took over the draft in day 2. Right?
Thank you.
Wandale Robinson, a C+ we gave that. Josh Izudu, that's a B. But Cordell Flott, a D we gave, Micah McFadden, a C+. And, while they had a really, really good start and building the trenches was exactly what their DNA is, we feel like they took a big step back on day 2 and day 3. Wandale Robinson was a huge reach. Cordell Flott, just like I mentioned, a huge reach. And then the Giants selected prospects on the North Carolina offensive line that was routinely blamed for Sam Howell's demise, right, in North Carolina. And so I'm not sure what the Giants did on day 2 and 3, but they had a good day 1.
Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, profootballnetwork.com, PFN 360 on Twitter. You can follow Matt on Twitter at Cannata, 2 N's, 1 T, PFN, Cannata, PFN. Matt, thanks for doing this. We appreciate it.
You got it. Nice talking to you again.
Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. And use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, Or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Just text me. Said, what didn't you like about the Giants draft?
Oh, by the way, Zito texted me yesterday because I was trying to get Steely Dan tickets, which I ended up getting. He said, there's a kid from Coastal Carolina, Javion Hialeah was an unrestricted draft signed by the Bengals. He goes, if you want him, I can get him. He went to high school with this kid.
Oh,
I'm like, yeah, we'll take him.
Sure.
I like that this guy found us through Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel badly for Titans fan. I think you're going to look back, and you know how much positive things I've said about the Titans for a few years. But I do think we're going to look back as 2021 was their moment in time that they blew. You know, they beat Cincinnati, which they should have, and they screwed it up. And they would have hosted the AFC Championship game. And then from a business decision, they felt they couldn't sign A.J. Brown to the same contract that the Eagles just signed him to. Upon further review, you pay the running back, you pay the wide receiver. They paid the running back. They also ended up having to pay the quarterback, and they felt they couldn't afford all three.
Do you like Malik Willis to Tennessee? I do.
I do. It probably gives Tannehill 2 years now instead of 1.
But hey.
But I will say, though, he's a project. He's also 6 feet tall. He did not have a good last year. He had a much better year before. This is Jordan Love all over again. Jordan Love had a really good junior year, did not have a great senior year. Willis had a much better 2 years ago at Liberty than last year. They played 2 or 3 games against, legitimate competition. He was not good in all of them.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour, Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Thanks so much for being with us. First Monday in May, the Stanley Cup playoffs get underway tonight. Oh, happy, happy, joy, joy. Woo-wee. Blades, by the way, looking to close things out tonight. Up 3-2.
Different playoff than we've experienced in a while with the new networks, with the whole...
First time since 2004 that it's back on the four-letter network.
And they're all in.
Yeah.
Gary Bettman's getting the car wash treatment today by the four-letter network. That's how all in they are. For those of you that don't know, Gary Bettman's the commissioner of the National Hockey League.
Gary going with the casual look with the open collar. Gary's usually very buttoned up.
He is.
So Gary going just open collar sport coat look, which, I think on a 60-something-year-old guy is not a bad look.
I would say it's about time for all of us.
Is that what one of the lasting effects of the pandemic is also going to be? The dressing down of America?
And I don't know how great I am with that. I have a strong affection for someone wearing a tie to a sporting event, David.
I was told it firsthand.
But the open throat and the suit's a good look.
He's solid.
You still look like put it this way. I don't ever see it happening, but I could see the announce crews going to that tomorrow.
I don't know why they haven't gone to it already.
I mean,
what
think
sport,
about it in football,
by the way?
Football.
Okay.
Football where nobody's wearing a suit and tie except for the announcers. There's
Correct.
not a soul. The GM doesn't have one on. The head coach doesn't have one on.
The head coach is literally by rule not allowed to wear one.
Right. They wear one to the game a lot of the time.
A lot of the time they do. Right.
But, even that, there used to be a time that, the basketball players have gone through different waves of how they dress. The hockey players always looked pretty good when they walk into the building.
Some owners still do the shirt and tie thing. A lot do the open throat and jacket look.
Basically, if you can go out for dinner on the island of Palm Beach without a tie and without a jacket, then there's no need for anybody to be wearing one on the networks anymore.
Don't disagree. Because of the pandemic, I think the coaching attire has certainly gone downhill.
Certainly in hoop. We've talked about that.
Don't know if it'll ever come back. Hockey, though, the coaches still wear the tie.
Right. Bedsy's going to have that tie on for the Colorado Avalanche, looking good behind the bench with that hair going silver on him.
That is a question. Should the hockey coaches continue to dress in suits? Because
I'd like to see him like the baseball manager. Let him be in skates and full equipment.
Oh, man. Listen, I'm okay with if the hockey coaches go a little less formal, but we've got to stop putting the baseball manager in a baseball uniform. Okay, please. Can we just?
The only thing that's saving them is, for the most part, the baseball manager is in a lot better shape today than they were in the 70s and 80s.
Well, they're 20 plus years younger.
Okay, but they're right. Our whole Fat Tuesday show of the fat athlete doesn't really exist. The fat coach really doesn't exist the way he once did.
No, it's a very sad decline of Western civilization, to be honest with you. All right. I miss the big old round managers and pitching coaches running out onto the field. The third base coach in particular. All right.
At some point in the draft, day 3, they show a shot of Kansas City's draft room, and it may have been day 2.
Oh, the NFL Network showed it all the time.
Right, and Andy Reid's got his back to the camera.
In a big Hawaiian shirt, because that's how he dresses.
And whoever's doing the coverage just happens to say, if you don't know, that's Andy Reid with his back to you. And I nearly spit out my drink. I was laughing so hard.
It's Rich Eisen. And it is funny. He's in a room full of people with shirts and sport coats. And there's Andy looking like, man, if we could just get this thing over with, I'm going on vacation.
Boy, they Vegas'd this draft up, and you knew they were going to. But when the Blue Man Group decided to take over the NFL Network, I thought Eisen was going to have a heart attack.
I thought he was going to quit.
I thought he might walk off the set.
Yeah.
because they all three. So the Blue Man Group starts out and does some little whatnot before day 3 of the draft. And then they're walking around doing their thing, and they take over the NFL set.
Right. So they're playing with the cameras,
but before that, they came and sat down on set, and all 3 of the other hosts got up and left.
Right.
And I think they did so on cue.
Yeah.
Blue Man Group comes in, they set their microphones down, and they get up and leave. And Eisen's with 3 guys who don't talk.
Correct. And the draft's going on. And he's not happy about it.
At all.
And he's not faking it. It was pointed out in our Twitch chat room. Bruce Arians had a very relaxed look. He was to Todd Bowles' right.
Yes.
Wearing his hat. And yes, he was the chair reclined. He was kind of reclining in it. It's like, yep, I appreciate the seat. I can throw in my 2 cents. And what time we eating?
The NFL reminded you that games are going to be played all over the world in the next 10 years.
Yes. A lot of live announcements.
From Rio de Janeiro.
Yes. With the
Dolphins pick.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one thing to go Mexico City and to Germany and to London where they are having these games.
Mm-hmm.
The Rio de Janeiro went, so you're planning on having a football game here, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, that was the first. When I saw that, I don't know about you, David, but I went, they're going to keep expanding this international part of this game.
I was just impressed with the goober in me who used to, do local television. It's like, hold on a second. So you sent 2 people to Rio, and their whole purpose in life was for this 15-second live shot. And you got to set up the shot, and you got to run the cable and make everything works. And then, yep. But remember, they did have to get the information to the
right.
guy.
No, I'm with you, and did it all over the world.
Yep.
So it was, from a technology standpoint, it was impressive. From a future of the NFL standpoint, they gave you a little tell, in my opinion.
2 years ago was a pandemic draft. And if you remember, sports stopped second week of March, and we didn't have anything for 6+ weeks, really. And so we watched the draft in monster numbers in 2020. Monster. I think it's 15 million. Last year, we had the 5 quarterbacks go in the first 15 picks. There was a sexiness. There was a sizzle to the draft. And we had the Bears with a dramatic trade up and the Niners and all that. 12 million last year. This year, no sexy, no sizzle. A lot of Vegas, but no sexy, no sizzle. 10 million.
10 million with nothing.
No, right. Which also, I mean, that's damn near NBA Finals numbers. But it is down 33% from pandemic draft. I think a lot of people in the NFL are now going to be curious about next year's numbers will be a big tell. There should be a minimum of 2 headline quarterbacks likely to go in the top 3 of next year's draft. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. And so next year should have sizzle to it. Never mind, you could very well have teams who have multiple first-round picks who are literally fighting to acquire. We talked about who could be on the clock. I mean, think about it. I think the Bears are going to be bad.
You have come out and you have the Bears finishing last in their division.
I do. And if that happens, then, they got a strong chance of being top 5. What if, just say, the Bears end up with the number 1 pick of the draft next year? Well, they got their guy, right? Right. But in theory, the number 1 pick now is up for auction. Chance for what would then be second-year general manager to make a huge splash. I mean, is there any guarantee that Jacksonville's going to be good this year? No, I would like to think they're going to win about 7 games and they're going to get out of the whole top 5 drafting discussion.
Yeah, I have trouble because I don't know that division's good. I think they're just going to be better based on the fact Tennessee's worse. Houston is where they are. But I'm with you.
And so there's a chance that a team who's drafting really, really high next year has their quote-unquote quarterback. I mean, I will say I think the Jets have helped themselves a lot, but what if the Jets have a really high pick? Well, they have their quarterback, right?
Well,
The Jags
if
have
they're
their-
picking in the top 3, do they have their quarterback?
Well,
I mean, if they're picking in the top 5, do they have their quarterback?
got to remember, the GM drafted the quarterback,
I understand.
admitting a mistake after 2 years.
Is it admitting a mistake, or is it saying that
Yes.
I have generational talent at this quarterback position and I'm going to go grab one?
Well, I mean, that is what Arizona did with Steve Keim.
Yes.
Took Josh Rosen 10 and a year in said, Kyler Murray? Yeah, we're taking him. He's better. Okay. Good for you. So, but next year's draft, the point is, should have real steak and sizzle to it. And it could have what we very rarely get, which is top 2 or 3 picks that are literally being auctioned off.
Right, where we had more steak and grizzle. A lot of grizzly linemen, if you see where I'm going with that. I mean, there wasn't anything at the top of this draft that made you think that it would get huge television numbers. And yet still, to me, 10 million people watching the drafts, an obscene number of people to watch names get selected on television for hours.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
If you're running the other leagues, there's a point in which you think you just have your top people line up and run their heads into the wall going, don't know what to tell you.
Well,
they're announcing names and they beat our final.
Here's the deal. Like, I heard a guy on NHL Network Radio last week say, I'm so envious of the NFL draft. But as I'm watching it, I'm thinking there's no way to compete with it because there is no minor league system that produces for the major league what college football does for the NFL. I mean, we don't, even though college baseball is more popular and all that, no.
We don't watch
He
it.
said, hockey, what could we do? College hockey is more popular than ever, but, come on, who knows the 17-year-old kid in Moose Jaw? He said, and then now you used to have it in basketball. And college basketball is not as big as it used to be. Guys are
And
more
the
one and
sports
done.
become international.
Right.
Which has hurt the draft.
So this is always going to be a big deal going forward. It just is. And the built-in system that is there, it is why the NFL has the rule you must be 3 years removed from high school. I mean, they would love to have the Julio Joneses of the world and Derek Stingleys of the world after year one when they had proven that they were ready. But this is their bone to college football. It's our way of saying we know this is a $1 billion minor league system every year for free.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, The Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with The Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
You got my text, I take it. The other one would be Angelina's, but that's pretty pricey. For Sunday, you can get brunch. They do brunch there, but
Skinny Dogs looks good.
Skinny Dogs is excellent. You're going to wait for a half hour.
Whatever.
You know what I mean? You're just going to be on a wait. It's not that bad, but they're always on a wait and they don't take reservations.
Ooh, and on Mother's Day.
Yeah, I would call Fancy. If you're going to do one of the other ones, I would call Fancy's today and get a reservation, or Angelina's and get a reservation. In fact, I might be calling Angelina's and getting a reservation. It is Mother's Day.
Glad we're doing Mother's Day early so that I can watch F1 Miami.
Okay. It was just tweeted out 2 minutes ago. Jordan Addison is getting the same amount of guaranteed money to play for USC as George Pickens got for being the Steelers' second-round pick.
F1 Miami is here.
Okay, for the record, Danielson liked the Kentucky player who the Lions took.
Did he?
Said we saw him twice last year. He was a maniac in both games.
All right. Cannata didn't have the graphics for him either. As I'm watching, typed what period, a period, reach period. In the moment, for what it's worth.
DK Metcalf went around the same place as shit. Oh, he went 64th overall.
Yeah, logic. The plates are huge, but did you like what you had? I like FK Your Diet. I think it's good. Mark doesn't like it.
Oh, I know. God, Marinaro. Jesus, the NFL Network crush him. They joked about it for 3 days.
Was that the dude that they were about to mute his mic and
Oh,
cut him
the
off?
lady came out and said, "Hey, you got to read the pick." Yeah.
Then he told her no. God, that was funny.
Eisen kept joking all weekend. Hey, why don't they get Ed Marinaro to come out and read this pick? Even Charles chimed in with, yeah, now he can tell us about the Cornell years. Golly. Then Eisen said something about, wait till you hear about Hill Street Blues. Good show.
Like the Make-A-Wish kid going nuts with Thibodeau, too.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really watch that live because we were doing our thing. That was actually really cool.
They brought him on set on NFL Network because apparently he wants to be a sportscaster. So they brought him on set.
Voice was good.
Brought him on set. Said,
for a little kid.
Hey.
He said the NFL football giants.
Yep.
Made me think of David.
That's a Chris Berman.
Yeah, that's a Berman.
That's a Berman thing.
Canada, no Mercedes? You don't think Louis going to do anything? This summer, I'm going to binge all of Drive to Survive, and I'm going to become an F1 fan.
Well, what I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for the golf one. They're trying to do one about the PGA Tour, and
Is it official? Yes.
I cannot believe that these players will go along with it.
That'd be so good. Hamilton is washed. I mean, he almost won last season, so is he? I know he's had a bad start to this season. I know he finished 14th in the last race, which was horrible. Still Lewis Hamilton, though.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Today was the day when, good, bad, and ugly, what's on tap, final thoughts, all coming up in about 20 minutes. We did not touch upon this throughout the crux of our show today. Did you see the little brouhaha developing college football? Pat Narduzzi of Pitt, not happy. He just lost his top wide receiver. Apparently came down to USC or Alabama. It looks as if USC is going to win. I think today's the day that you got to get your name in the transfer portal for all sports. So today could be a busy day in college athletics, a last chance for kids to
get paid by somebody else.
Right. And I believe Jordan Addison is the wide receiver's name. And he had a big year with Kenny Pickett throwing him the rock and all that. And he's got one more year before he can go pro. And he made a business decision. Well, he was obviously recruited.
Right.
Well, Pat Narduzzi's not very happy about it. And I don't blame him. But it does go back to a discussion we had last week. We all, I think, would agree, even you and I, who are in favor of the chaos that is going on, that we would we're fine with the chaos as opposed to the status quo of 3 years ago.
Correct.
But we said it's going to be a mess for 5 years. And we're willing to live with that until we figure out what the next step is. Well, Jordan Addison looks as if he's going to USC, and it was tweeted out during our break. He is getting the same amount of guaranteed money to play for USC as George Pickens is going to get for being the Steelers' second-round pick. Now, then in this tweet, it was then asked rhetorically, how is this good or even sustainable for college football, or for that matter, the NFL?
Well, I wonder how sustainable it is for college football. I really do. At what point will boosters have had enough with paying 18-year-olds this kind of money? Or will they? Or is there so many boosters with so much money that it's an infinite amount of cash, David, and it just lasts forever? We've never had this before, so I can see where rich boosters are going, here's our chance to name the school to the promised land quickly.
Which is what boosters have always wanted, by the way.
Yes.
So now, and it gives them arguably more power than they've ever had before.
But $100 handshake and a $200,000 contract are far cries from one another.
Or in this case, I think $800,000.
Good day.
Well, it's a private school. They got the money.
And this is pay for play.
Yes. This is not NIL.
This person didn't transfer and then get a deal. This person was told, if you transfer, here's the deal. That's pay for play. And it is not what you and I advocated for.
No, it's not.
But we knew it was coming because Mark Emmert and the NCAA didn't do a damn thing for 20 years other than kick the can down the road and say, Congress, take care of this.
And they hoped the courts would side with them, and they didn't.
And not only did they not side with them, they overwhelmingly sided against them.
And so now we had not Daniel Wallach, who's
Kaplan. Daniel Kaplan.
And we had him on last week and said, is there any way to put the genie back in the bottle? And he went, oh, no. Mm-mm. And I said, salary cap? And he said, well, remember, they got to be employees in order to do that. I go, yeah, I know.
And what conference is going to step in and try to?
Never.
You can't.
No. Why would Greg Sankey step in and put limits on the SEC when in theory other conferences would be like, hey, man, have at it. Have at it.
And who's the school that's going to really fall by the wayside? I really want to pay attention to what happens at Clemson, David. Because Dabo seems to be the guy that doesn't like the transfer portal, and he's not all that fond of NIL. accepting of it, but not all that fine of it. But he is not accepting of the transfer portal whatsoever.
Well, that's the one that they're going to be able to put limits on, because that's the one in which I think you can get all the conferences and the coaches and the ADs to actually come to some sort of uniform rules on. And then it'll be a matter of whether or not some student athlete and a set of attorneys are going to challenge it in court. But I think they're willing to take on that fight. I have no idea right now what they're going to do with the money. Darren Heitner, by the way, was who we had on a week ago. So that's out there, that guy. And think about it, though, from a business standpoint. He had a first-round pick at quarterback, throwing him the ball at Pitt. Well, he graduated. And we were on a really good team, by the way. We went 11-2, and we won the ACC. We're not going to be as good this year. Meanwhile, I can go to USC. I have a hotshot quarterback prospect. I just spent a couple of years in Pittsburgh. Did I mention I get to go to USC? And Pitt can't do for me in NIL what they can do for me. And my career could be over soon. I mean, I could suffer an injury, college, pro, the whole deal. No guarantee I'm going to make it in the pros. I mean, how many guys who play in college in which the announcers go, that's a future first-round pick, and you remember 2-3 years later they go in the fourth round?
Look through where receivers were drafted. Look at guys from your college that you liked, and you'll see guys that went in the fourth round, fifth round, sixth round. They'll have a shot at playing special teams next year.
Now, I think NG Lindy in our Twitch chat room hits on it, that the boosters may say to the universities, listen, I only have so much money to go around. Do you want it for your buildings, or do you want me to pay the players? I'll do whichever one you want, but I can't do both. That may happen.
And to show you how much further the Big Ten and the SEC then should be ahead of the rest of the world, it's not even funny. Because the money that they're getting from their television contracts is going to take care of all the buildings. They literally could tell the boosters, you take care of the players, the network's taking care of everything else. And there's a canyon between the Big Ten, the SEC, and any other conference out there. And it's not close.
But I don't see a salary cap coming, and I'm being serious, because that would be making
them employees.
Right.
They're not going to do that.
No, they're not. Not unless literally they are forced to, probably by the courts.
Remember, the labor is still free for the university. Why would they enter into a system where they have to pay them? They're not paying them now. I'll be interested to see if Emmert's replacement, though, starts going after the pay-for-play part of this. Because we all know it is. And no one seems to want to recognize that. The key part of NIL is that pay-for-play is not allowed. Well, when you leave Pittsburgh to go to USC without doing anything, you're not supposed to be able to recruit these players. They're not even in the portal.
Right.
He enters the portal. He's at USC the next day, and he's making nearly $1 million.
But there was no contact. Nothing happened here. Nothing to see here.
And for someone in the Twitch chat says, I want to see an athlete get a fat NIL deal and then enter the transfer portal. It already happened.
Oh.
The high school quarterback from Texas couldn't get paid at 17, went to Ohio State, got paid, didn't like it, is already back in Texas.
In fact, there are some that thought that was a calculated business decision, that that's exactly what he was going to do. Just go make some money for a year and then come back to Texas. Speaking of which, not a single Longhorn drafted. Don't be in a hurry to join the SEC, boys. You just went 5-7 in the Big 12, didn't have a player drafted. May want to pump the brakes on this move to the SEC.
Wow.
In fact, when UCF and Cincinnati and the boys show up in the Big 12, you may have to play them for a year or two. It may not go well. They're better than who you lost to this year.
Miller and Moulton. Good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day when what's on tap? All still ahead before we sign off right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, it's Mark Miller for the Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better. Improve your golf game from home with Orange Whip Golf and Fitness online swing training program, The Training Grove. With a growing swing training video library and a daily program prescribed by golf fitness professionals, the Grove provides a clear path to unlock your most powerful swing, giving you control of your game like never before. Join thousands like me who have finally found a way to achieve results in half the time of traditional game improvement methods with the Grove's revolutionary blend of golf fitness, instruction, and award-winning Orange Whip products. Go to orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial and use code Miller10 to get $20 off your first month. That's orangewhipgolf.com to get started for a free 14-day risk-free trial. Remember to use code Miller10. That will get you $20 off your first month. The Training Grove by Orange Whip Golf, where golfers go to get better.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Donkey Teeth. What if there's a bar? You won't sign up 30-40 minute wait, but there's a place in the bar area that you could just go and hang out for those 30 minutes and you can all talk to one another. So have you guys settled on Skinny Dogs?
I gave him 3 places to choose from.
Okay.
I sent both restaurants in the group chat with the family, so we'll see.
No.
What?
That I sent both restaurants in the group chat with the family, so we'll see.
No, Klecko. We're at like 15 or something like that.
8:13.
8:17.
Oh,
Thank you,
I stand
Waldron
corrected.
699. Good day today. Days like this get me there. I need 4 a day, every day. It ain't gonna happen.
Mark, I have a website that can grant you access to like any show you want, and me and my friends, we pay for it. I'm gonna give you the login credentials so you can watch Winning Time. Each episode.
If I can't watch it on my television, I'm not interested. I can't watch a show on a phone.
Do you have Apple TV?
Yes.
So you can play it on your phone and screen mirror it.
Yeah, I could.
That's what I do.
I'm actually going to get I'm going to steal my mother's because she has my Netflix. I pay for so many subscriptions for my mother. She's got Comcast, got HBO. She's got to give me her login so I can put HBO Max on my PlayStation.
Listen, that show progressively gets better.
Oh, I'm sure.
Each episode is better than the last. It is amazing. It's an instant classic.
Well,
There's a Showtime documentary coming out,
Yes.
which is the one that's Magic is.
Yeah.
Don't know if he's executive producer of, or
I think he is,
but
or
he
one of.
certainly was an active participant in it. Canada Relief. If you think about it, though, the restaurants want you out. They just to seat more of you. And
David, is it the Showtime one or the Apple TV Plus one?
I thought it was.
Oh, that's cool.
I thought it was Showtime, but is it Apple TV?
Apple TV Plus made their own version of what you're saying. And
Is
it's
it
called
Magic Time?
It's called They Call Me Magic.
There you go.
Yeah.
I saw a promo for it the other day.
Yeah, I watched the first episode yesterday. It's just more informative, I guess.
I was totally with Matt Cannata. So let me get this straight. You drafted 2 offensive linemen from North Carolina, a team that was generally regarded last year as having a really bad offensive line. Got it.
By the way, screw Jerry West.
Seriously?
Really? You're gonna sue HBO Max for making a show about you?
Yes.
Philly, if he feels that he has been completely unfairly portrayed. I mean, I understand being a public figure. I mean, listen, there are certain things that we have to put up with. We qualify as public figures. You can say and do shit to us that you can't do to 99% of the population. But I do think there comes a point with privacy and with grief that even public figures get to raise their hand and go, hold on a second.
Well, guess what? I don't know if he's watching the show because his character is developing very well in the show. And yeah, he went to the finals 9 times and lost to the Celtics 8 of those times.
Yeah, but
it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. In fact, in one of the finals, he was voted finals MVP.
Yes, which his portrayal of the character expresses is frustrating, which is obvious. And what? He wants to complain that they portray him as an alcoholic?
The fact of the matter is,
he drinks a glass of bourbon?
Well, the fact of the matter is the book, the problem is that the book did not portray him this way.
Well, that's right, because there's a Winning Time book.
There's a Showtime book. They changed the name because Showtime couldn't be the show on HBO.
Yeah.
But the Showtime book by Jeff Pearlman, who we've had Jeff on this show, my goodness,
5
times minimum, about different books he's written, particularly the USFL book. He's even said he didn't. I mean, that's the biggest thing, is that the author of the book has Jerry West back.
At least somewhat.
We'll come back.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. Our poll question. So how do you think your team did in the draft? A, B, C, D, or F? Those are the choices. Go to that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, FL Sports Network, all on Twitter, or go to floridasportsnetwork.com and vote. How do you think your team did? I ended up going with C for the Giants. I probably would have given it a C+, but there's a lot of picks I didn't like.
I don't necessarily have a team.
Right.
But my soft spots for the Detroit Lions, I gave them an A. I loved them moving up to get the best that would have been the number 1 receiver in the draft had he not been hurt. I think Ojabo is going to be a better pro than Hutchinson when it's all said and done.
Well, there were a lot of people that were like, we were watching the Hutchinson tape. It was pretty hard not to be able to see the other guy.
Thank you.
Who probably goes top 10, if not for the injury. And the injury happened at the pro day. Pretty late in the workout, too. It wasn't going to last much longer.
I know. That is terrible. But all signs are he'll be able to recover, come back, and play. All right, let's get after it.
Leave it to the oldest guy in the show, and definitely the oldest soul, to live in the past. Here's David Moulton with Today Was the Day When...
I don't go nearly as far back as I normally do. I don't even go back 100 years. I do go back 99. 1923, Walter Johnson, the big train. Get this. He threw his 100th shutout in a 3-0 win for the Senators over the Yankees. 100 shutouts. I don't think that's going to be broken. Mark, it was on this day in 1939 that Lou Gehrig took himself out of the lineup, ended his consecutive game streak at 2,130. It was like a 12-2 game also. Would have been an easy chance to make a pinch hit appearance and keep it going. Obviously, he wasn't feeling well, and we all know his fate. But Lou Gehrig today, May 2nd, 1939, took himself out of the lineup. So on this day in 1945, 1 million German troops surrendered in Italy and Austria. Also, the Battle of Berlin ends with the Soviet flag flying over the Reichstag. Hitler committed suicide over the weekend. It was the 30th. This day in 1949, Arthur Miller wins the Pulitzer for Death of a Salesman. This day in 54, Stan Musial hits 5 homers in a doubleheader.
That's a good day.
That really is. Hit 3 in the first, come back with 2 in the second, or vice versa. That's nice. 1955, Tennessee Williams wins the Pulitzer for Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Mark, I think you'll find this one interesting. In 1958, the Yankees threatened Major League Baseball. Remember, 58's the first year, the Dodgers and Giants have just moved west.
Right.
They played the 57 season in New York. Now they're out west. The season's about 3 weeks old. And Major League Baseball is like, hey, we're going to put National League games in New York. And the Yankees go, the hell you are. And it was quite a standoff. And the Yankees said, fine, you do it. We're going to take our games nationally. We got a network that'll show our games. You do your thing, we'll do ours. Major League Baseball backs down.
All right.
The beginning of 4 straight years where all you saw in New York was Yankees games until the Mets came around.
I like it.
1967, 55 years ago today, the Toronto Maple Leafs won their last Stanley Cup. They beat the Canadiens 4-2 in Game 6. 55 years. And ironically, what begins tonight? The Stanley Cup playoffs with the Maple Leafs hosting the Lightning. In 68, the Celtics beat the Lakers in 6 for the title. That happened a lot.
I was going to say, isn't that kind of what happened every year?
Well, the next year they beat them in 7. Speaking of the next year, in 69, it was the maiden voyage of the QE2. A big boat left the UK, headed to New York City on this day in 69. Earl Campbell, Mark, number 1 overall pick of the draft on this day in 78 to the Houston Oilers.
My goodness, could he run?
And they went to the AFC Championship game his rookie year and his second year. All right, Mark, May 2nd. Oftentimes it was the first Saturday in May. I only went back about 40 or so years.
Okay.
Horses that won the Kentucky Derby on this day. In 81, Pleasant Colony. In 87, Ali Sheba. In 92, Lil E.T. Long shot. Real Quiet won the Derby on this day in 98.
One of my faves. Beautiful horse.
13 years ago, the 50-1 shot, Mind That Bird, won the Derby. And 7 years ago, American Pharoah won the Derby. On this day in 88, this was the day Pete Rose pushed umpire Dave Pallone and was suspended 30 days for it. He claimed Pallone spit on him when they were jawing in an argument. 1997, 25 years ago today, Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery was released. Yeah, baby, yeah.
It's a great movie. It really is. It was well done.
25 years ago. John Elway retired 23 years ago in 99. GPS was made available to the rest of us on this day in 2000. President Clinton, GPS was just for the military. And President Clinton said, I think everybody else should be able to benefit from this technology. So that was 22 years ago. Osama bin Laden killed by special forces in Pakistan 11 years ago today. Mayweather beat Pacquiao 7 years ago today.
Even though it should have been 12 years ago today.
Yeah, at least. Mark, can you believe it's been 6 years? 5,000-1. Leicester City wins the Premier League.
One of the cool sporting moments. Gives everybody that roots for any team hope.
5,000-1 before the season began. Mark, born on this day, no longer with us, Catherine the Great, and the wrestler Big Boss Man. Jamal Wilkes is 69. Felipe, you're just finding out about Jamal Wilkes, right? With that Lakers show?
Oh, I knew about Jamal Wilkes, but a little bit.
David Beckham's 47. Brad Richards, instrumental in the Lightning's first cup. He's 42. Kyle Busch is 37. Paul George is 32. Pat McAfee's 35. The Rock is 50. Looks pretty good for 50.
Yes, he does. Makes us look pretty bad at anything in our 50s.
And Lou Graham, lead singer of Foreigner, 72. Today was the day.
One little omission, just because I want to get this out there. It is, well, first off, it's my daughter's birthday. So happy birthday. And secondly, Engelbert Humperdinck is 86 years old today.
Oh, wow.
That's not his given name. Arnold George Dorsey is Engelbert Humperdinck's name. That's what he went with. Hey, Arnie, what are you going to go with for your name? Engelbert. How about that? Hey, you got yourself a winner.
Well, but then also, where's the Humperdinck come from?
I don't know.
I don't know who the hell you're talking about.
An 86-year-old singer.
Oh, there you go.
That just struck me as weird.
Works.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Really surprised you came up with the Big Boss Man.
When I saw it, I said he's circling that. He thinks I'll never have that.
I mean, Beckham and The Rock and all of these.
Right. Easy.
Right.
Right.
I'm torn between two good. The North Fort Myers guy wins $1 million on a scratcher. Great.
Awesome.
But this one I thought was really cool. They were having the Beale Street Music Festival in Memphis over the weekend. And because of the passing of Foo Fighters drummer, and now his name escapes me, they threw in Sammy Hagar to replace Foo Fighters. And he asked Dave Grohl, and Dave Grohl gave him permission. He belted out My Hero as his encore song in memory of the Foo Fighters. And it's going to come to me, David. Taylor Hawkins. There we go. Sorry, had to get through that.
I understand.
For the bad, we go to Jerusalem, where America blown it again overseas. A bomb scare set off at the Israeli airport after an American family showed up with an unexploded artillery shell they had found and intended to bring back as a souvenir. Finally, the ugly. We go to the gritty streets of Collier County, where 37-year-old bartender Bibliano Sanchez refused to acknowledge a customer's order of a bucket of beer. And then when the customer reached for the bucket of beer they presumed was theirs, the bartender met him with a left cross.
Oh, wow.
The bartender's in jail. No word on whether they ever got the bucket of beer. That, David, is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, May the 2nd, 2022.
Mark, I don't know if you've heard, but Stanley Cup playoffs get underway tonight.
The new phone books are here.
There are 4 games, 2 on ESPN, 2 on ESPN2. The Lightning are on ESPN2. Don't get all bent out of shape. Why are the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions relegated to the deuce? It's real simple. They're playing a team from Canada. Canada numbers don't count in the U.S. ratings. ESPN's playing the ratings game, particularly since the Bruins, they can put on ESPN, and they draw really well. So Lightning in Toronto on the deuce, Boston, Carolina on ESPN, and then you do the St. Louis, Minnesota on ESPN, followed by Kings and Edmonton on the deuce. For the record, I will go Lightning in 7, Canes in 6, Blues in 6, Kings in 6.
Okay. I'm going to take the Bruins. I'm going to take the Lightning. I'm going to take the Panthers. I'm going to take your Rangers. On the other side, I'll take the 4 favorites.
Okay. Fair enough. So you'll go wild over Blues.
I'll go wild over the Blues, ending Nick Kypreos' run of picking the Blues to go to the final today.
Right. Yeah, I picked Blues Lightning. Last 3 Stanley Cup champions. Blues in 2019, Lightning the last 2 years.
I love the Blues unis. They can hang around for a while just for the unis.
NBA playoffs tonight. Heat, 7.5-point favorites at home against the Sixers. Felipe, you laying the points?
7.5?
What?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Just see, pay attention to our show.
Not at this point.
No.
He's got a lot going on over there. He's just trying to get us off the air so he can leave.
By the way, how many games do the Heat need to win this series in your estimation? No Embiid for games 1 and 2. Probably no Lowry for games 1 and 2 also.
I think it might be 5 again.
Wow.
I'll say Heat in 6.
I will as well. Phoenix, by the way, begins their series against Dallas. Suns are a 5.5-point home favorite.
I'm going to lay the points with both tonight.
Okay. Both road teams a winner yesterday, for what it's worth, Milwaukee and Golden State. So you're going with the home teams and the money today. Fair enough. Baseball, about half the teams are out there. I believe 8 games. Both the Marlins and Rays in action. Marlins are home for Arizona, and the Rays head to Oakland.
By the way, you can get pretty good money today betting on Zach Greinke at like plus 150 against the Cards on the road, just for what it's worth. Pretty good pitcher to be getting plus money on.
And it's a matinee because it's a makeup game. It's a 1:15 start, so it's a getaway day. A couple of interesting series, though. Braves are in New York to face the Mets, and I know it's early, but Atlanta's 6 back already in the standings. And the Yankees are in Toronto, first place showdown against the Jays.
I know you mentioned A's hosting the Rays. Boy, oh boy, does attendance get over 5,000? It's a Monday nighter, 640.
Wow.
Do they get over 4,000 for the game tonight?
Well, hold
Rays
on.
at A's.
Hold on. You just went from 5,000 to 4,000.
But I remember they did 3,700 or whatever. I'll give you 4,250 as an over-under number.
Under.
If it was 4, would you still go under?
I would, close, because you're right. They had that 3-game midweek series in which their highest total was like 37.
I mean, Monday night, school's still going on. It's a 6:40 start out there. I'd go under both of them. I mean, nobody there. They might not do 10 grand for that series.
It's funny. Imagine the jokes the race players are going to be telling themselves. They're going to be looking around going, man, and we thought nobody came to our game.
I'll tell you what, this is where you want the Manning cast baseball game, just or players mic'd up, if you know what I mean.
Totally. So, guys, what kind of conversations are you having with the crowd? Well, there's a lovely lady here in row 2. All right. She's single. All right.
In fact, we've learned the names of everybody in section 111.
Right. We're autographing baseballs in between innings and handing them out.
To everyone.
Right. Everyone. Red Hot Twins in Baltimore. Oh, by the way, and for that matter, Red Hot Angels in the South Side against the really slumping White Sox. So baseball, basketball, hockey. We got a lot going on. NASCAR, remember, begins at noon. NASCAR resumes at noon at Dover. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great rest of your Monday. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for